Well, welcome YouTube members. I'm gonna wait for the ads to play for the. Dang, I got a lub already. A late. What is going on? The
People are
chat.
quick with that,
The
almost.
chat is brutal. They're watching the ads now for a reason. But for all you guys on YouTube rewatching, bro, welcome to another show of Open Gym War on Old Media. Finally, we got the third after the ads. We got the viewers in here as well. Having like late and lub like as soon as a minute passes, OD. Y'all need to chill the hell out. The war on the old media is something that's going to continue going on whenever we feel like it, but I don't feel like doing it every single episode. So we'll take breaks here and there, but this is something that just needs to be talked about, something that needs to finally be ended. Mars, this is your guy. You feel me? This is your war that you want. You want all the smoke. Before you start off, though, I do want to say we have a super chat coming at 3 o'clock p.m. So a lot of people got mad already from not loafing. Stock was the lead guard on a finals unit 2 times with records that won't be broken all time. Consistency played all 82 16 times. MJ kept him from winning. Hashtag, I guess he's greater than CP3, which
Yeah,
is
that's
false.
what he's trying to say.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the cap is ridiculous with Stockton. I don't. I Okay. I'm not gonna say I don't get it. I get it. It's people praising the longevity and the numbers, the 14 assists a game he was averaging at his apex, all of those stuff. I mean, it's cool. But the thing that bothers me, oh great. um the thing that bothers me is it's the old people who are watching John Stockton or claim to have watched John Stockton who seem to be in denial about what he was. He wasn't someone who was just initiating great offense or finding all these fantastic passes 24/7. Instead, he was someone who would survey the floor, wait for Karl Malone to have good post position, throw a nice entry pass, Karl Malone would score, he would get an assist. Or he'd run a nice pick and roll, wait for Karl Malone to have a little bit of space, he'll throw a pocket pass, Karl Malone would do one dribble, one move, pull up, 12 footer, 15 footer, score, he gets an assist. He'll wait for Jeff Hornacek to come off a down screen, who stands at the top of the key, throw him the ball, Jeff Hornacek will make a shot, get an assist. That's what John Stockton would do. In transition, he'd attack, like that's the way he was actually trying to be aggressive as a scorer, I guess, in the early years. And then those are the times he'd actually look like an actual point guard who was actually a threat to score. But then his passing would get worse. So the issue I have with John Stockton is people praise all these assists, and you can watch the games where John Stockton gets a high amount of assists. Just see how many of them are just the most average, basic assists you'll ever see, and then people are going to tell me he's one of these all-time great passers, all-time great playmakers. He's a very good passer, top 15, because he still makes a ton of great passes. That's what you're going to do. He's not a better passer than the likes of Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Larry Bird, Nikola Jokic. Like there's so many passers who I'd say are better than him. So it just comes down to people not doing the due diligence to, if you were alive at the time, to go back and watch without your biased lenses, and you'll see that John Stockton wasn't doing anything spectacular. And the people who are like me, 5 years old, and have to go back and watch these things, also just games are very easy to find. Playoff games, regular season games. The internet is a great tool. Just use it. You'll see that these people who tell you John Stockton's one of these top five passes, top two passes, like some people say, they're lying to you. That they don't believe what they're saying. They're just looking at assist totals. They're not doing anything that we couldn't do ourselves. If we wanted to say John Stockton was a top five passer, we could say the exact same thing. It would be based on assists. You didn't need to watch them to make these opinions. So don't let them fool you just because they have grey hairs. They're not saying anything spectacular. It's not some all knowing wisdom. They're just saying stuff from basketball reference, and you believe them because they're old. That's the only thing they're doing.
It's not at that time. It wasn't Basketball Reference. At that time, it was ESPN. It was the announcers. It was the people who was just regurgitating BS. So if we're gonna be real, like the old heads, they were doing the same thing. Instead of Basketball Reference, though, it was just the media that they were listening to because they took the media way more seriously back then than they do now. So they're just regurgitating what the media was spewing back then and regurgitating what they said and regurgitating the narratives in which they were spewing. If you go back and watch this with an objective standpoint, you could clearly see right from wrong. I do want to remind everybody that if you do have bring in super chats, and you attach your name to it, Leaf did it earlier. You put your Twitter IG or Twitter IG handles on there. I will look it up for you guys, get you on the show. That way you could get some of your takes off. You guys will have first dibs over a lot of people. Also, the All Star members as well. We got one of the All Star members here, right here. He joined through the All
Yes,
Star link
sir.
on YouTube,
He
on the
was here
Discord
instantly as well. It was crazy.
instantly. So feel me? Keep that in mind. And we also got a guy Leaf up here getting first dibs, man. So always keep that in mind, fellas. Always keep that in mind.
Oh boy.
What's good, fellas? How y'all feeling?
Oh
Leaf
my
is a
god.
Stockton stan. I know that. I
No,
don't know
no,
why.
but
Yeah, I'm
Mars,
good, I'm
Mars,
good.
Mars. Please, listen. Yo, Dub, we gotta stop this, man. This. Please, no. Here's my thing, bro. If the cement is dry, why are we still picking at this shit? That like my thing is just like, yo, Mars.
The only person up here without a cam that gets up here is Ace30. If you do not have a camera, please do not join the link because I won't let you up here.
All right, Dub, Mars. Like Stockton played 19 years, right? If
Mhm.
like if you could go back, and if it only take you, like, how many games does it take for you to look at somebody that didn't play while you was alive to analyze what they were and how they were, like, because I'll give you a perfect example. They said Kobe wasn't a willing passer, but it was a couple of years after, like, this is during the Steve Nash time, where he was averaging like 10 plus assists for like 15 straight games. I'll give you another example. Jordan was averaging a triple double when he was at point guard for 11 games. Like, how many games does it take to really analyze some of these old heads? Like, really, man. Like, if he played 19 games and if he played 19 years and you only watch 19 games, that's not a good sample size to me.
At all.
Oh well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not judging John Stockton for any years out of his prime. So the years where he was a rookie and not playing that much, I don't have much of a gauge on that at all. I've probably watched about 2 games from those times. In his prime, when I'm watching prime Utah Jazz, I've watched a large portion of playoff games. Too many.
How many?
Too many. Can't keep count. You want me to
You
give an
can't
estimate?
keep
Just
count.
I'll give an
How many
estimate. I've
series
seen
you watch? Series a game.
series. I've seen about 6 or 7 series in
6 or 7
completion.
series.
You don't have
In
to
his
see that much.
19-year career that you seen.
You don't have to see
When
that
I'm-
much.
when I'm
It's always been the same player.
when I'm watching the peak Utah Jazz, I've watched about 6 or 7 series in completion. I've
Okay,
seen
what
other
years would
handfuls
you
of
say is
games.
peak Utah? What years? would you say?
89 to like 95. Those are the years where I'd say is peak Utah Jazz. I've obviously seen the finals runs as well, 97, 98. But when I'm talking about peak John Stockton, I'm talking about those years in particular. I've seen about 6 or 7 series from that time. I've seen plenty of the finals runs. I've seen many more regular season games, halves, quarters. And it's not about just, oh, well, let me look at this random game and John Stockton didn't do this. So all of a sudden, that means he's never done it. It's you look for trends, you look for things that are repeating patterns. And that's when you can see what a player is really like. This season, for example, I haven't watched every game of the Lakers. I've seen quite a few. I've seen maybe about 10 or something. I can see trends with the Lakers. So even though I haven't watched every game, I can fill in some of the gaps of what the Lakers are like and form an opinion based off of that. So that's
Okay.
why I'm
All right,
basically
Mars.
Yeah, it's
listening.
impossible to watch every game.
Mars, let me ask you another
Yeah.
question. How many Indiana Pacers games you watched this season?
About 5 to 7, something like that.
About 5 to 7. And
Mhm.
all right, what's your assessment on Tyrese Halliburton?
I mean, I don't think he's taken as much of a jump this season than he did last season. I think his pull-up shooting's taken a jump. Overall, his passing is being, to me, slightly overblown because of the assists. I don't think he's making many better reads than he did last year. His interior passing seems pretty good. His defense is still very mid. So overall, I don't think Tyrese Halliburton has taken a huge jump from what I saw last season when I saw more of him. So
Okay.
he's pretty similar as a player to me.
Okay, all right. So based off of what you just said, like Tyrese Halliburton this year is averaging what, like 10.5 assists, like maybe like two and a half turnovers.
Something like that.
Like
I'll
two and
check.
a half turnovers or something like that. I could be wrong about that. So based on that, we would say, all right, yo, like without even looking, we would just say, all right, yo, if we see 10 assists and only 2-something turnovers, we automatically think, boom, that's like out of this world assist
Most
turnover
steals.
ratio, right?
No,
That's what people do. I've given my assessment on assist to turnover ratio many times, and when you're a more conservative passer like a John Stockton, like a Chris Paul to some degree, you're gonna get less turnovers. It doesn't mean you're doing anything spectacular. The more risk you take, the more turnovers you're gonna get. So also, the assist to turnover.
But if you're still able to get 10 assists though, I mean, you're still taking enough risk, right?
Not really.
Like,
not really.
The ball all game. He's got the ball all game.
Getting assists doesn't mean you're taking risks. It means you're passing the ball to someone who takes a shot and they make the shot. Like not all assists carry the same amount of risk.
So it's safe to say he just passing the ball, but all his assists come off of Buddy Hield. That's what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying not all assists carry the same amount of risk. So someone getting 10 assists and someone else getting 10 assists, they're not both holding the same risk and the same burden on offense. They both get the same amount of assists. But that's why you need to watch these people and see how these assists are coming, see what opportunities they are creating, and how well they are passing the ball beyond just looking at the box score of Tyrese Halliburton.
Can I say something? Can I say something to that real quick? So, for example, like 6 assists from Draymond Green is different from 6 assists from Kobe Bryant. I think we all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know the level of difficulty with Kobe is way more than Draymond Green. So that's what Mars is trying to say.
But here's my but my whole thing about this whole argument is that we're not consistent when we do this. Oh, he got 6 assists. It's different from this guy and this guy. We never are consistent when we do that with players that we like and don't like. For instance, if you're a player on a bad 3-point shooting team, right, or a team that just can't shoot, and you have a down year in shooting 3, of course you're gonna have a worse year because if you're the only good offensive player on the team, your 3-point shooting percentage will go down or will be worse than it usually is because you have so much pressure on you to score or to hit a perimeter shot. For instance, KD, right? I'm not even trying to hate on KD, but KD, no, this is not a hate. These are just facts. Before he went to Golden State, right? His 3-point percentage in the playoffs throughout OKC was like below 35% in the playoffs. Throughout like
33, 32,
33%. You know where his 3-point percentage went up or went to in this first year in Golden State in the playoffs? 44%. So either KD got way better at 3, or maybe he joined a team that was better ball movement and better 3-point shooting. So what I'm saying is, if we're going to use the argument of we got to be consistent and just not pick favorites when we use these type of relational arguments. That's all I'm saying.
And you're speaking generally with that, right? Not just
if you real quick. You can't say like Mars has got this stigma of being a stat guy, but when he broke down vividly on the hyperbole description on what stats could become, y'all dismiss it. But when you try to say when you go back and watch yesteryear's players, there's also a lot of cross referencing in terms of like if I'm trying to pick up the best Barkley games, I'm also gonna get some of the best David Robinson games. You know what I'm saying? So it's not and vice versa for every other player. So when you describe, just go back and watch those games, bro. Everything Mars describing is on point. A lot of people don't know the system. They don't know the impact and the impact of the Jerry Sloan system. A lot of people don't know it was actually designed to give the point guard as much a scoring opportunity as the roll or the pick and pop guy.
That's true. That's true. I knew that.
But we don't use that rationale. We don't use that rationale to describe the production of other players, but we still say they're great. Like I can make the same point about why certain players scored a lot. Like again, Jordan still think Jordan's the greatest scorer ever. Like to me, that's undisputed. But at the same time, Rodman wasn't going to take any shots. He was there purely for rebounding. There were people there with purely defined roles, and Jordan was taking 22 plus shots a game. Are we going to say, oh, Jordan only scored 30 plus?
No. What I'm trying to say is
get the ball.
When people have this stigma for Stockton because of these, just look at the numbers. He has to be a top 5 point guard, or he has to be a top 30, 35 player. it's just hyperbole. It's just not simply true because his peak was not as high as his contemporaries of his era, let alone throughout his position.
Bro, 14 assists.
No.
Listen. The thing with John Stockton is, how do you think he's doing in today's game? Is John Stockton really starting in today's league? Yes. Is John Stockton really keeping up with these guards? Steph Curry?
I don't know. I don't really like to go hypothetical because like we base it off of like the hypotheticals is based off what those players did and then just dropping them in this era. We not basing it off of
I'm looking at this game.
But we not basing it off of what potential. We basing it off of what they did. Like most of the players that
keep it real. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, man. Keep it real, bro.
This is where it goes too far. You can say
let's talk right talk.
Say that he wouldn't thrive is weird, bro. He has the most steals in the city ever.
Top right. What
let's top right cook.
He has the 19-year-old long career. It's a longevity.
That's a positive.
Yeah, it's a positive.
Yeah, no one's discrediting John Stockton's longevity, but when we're comparing, what I discredit with John Stockton is the fact that people believe he's a top 5 passer or a top 5 playmaker of all time.
So,
and I'm gonna be honest, I think that overshadows the other parts of his game where he was really good. I think he was a really good defensive player. And that seems to get undersold because everyone wants to hype up his passing.
I thought he was dirty defensively.
He was dirty.
Very dirty.
Oh, he was 100%. He was 100% dirty.
I thought he was dirty.
He was still playing good defense, but that gets undersold. The fact that he had a good pull-up shot, that was good. He was good in transition.
Those
things,
he had a very good pull-up shot.
But those things get understated because people overrate the passing, and that's the issue I have with John Stockton. The way we talk about him,
but Mars. At what point when we see John Stockton, I say just verbatim, like 13, 14 assists, do we go overrated or underrated on that? At what point does that bother? Like, all right, when you see it, if he getting all this assist, if they running the same pick and roll, how much is John Stockton's fault and it's the defense fault or Karl Malone's fault? Who's getting the bulk of this?
It's no one's fault. It's no one's fault.
They benefited from illegal defense, B, John Stockton being a very good pick and roll player, and
but
Karl
how
Malone
much
being
do
a
we
great
really
scorer.
hold that against them in terms of passing?
No. What we're saying, no one's taking anything away from Stockton. What we're doing, we're being accurate for actually who he was. When people say he's a top 5 point guard, it's laughable. When people say he's a top 30 player all time, it's laughable because of the things that you have to beyond the stats. It's funny how like bro, throughout months of this show, people just been viewed as statisticians, only just game by the numbers. But when we give y'all objective, observative evidence that y'all refuse to acknowledge,
he's watched less than 5% of his games ever. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's great durability. That's great durability. No one took that away.
Okay, and I'm gonna say the people who were watching John Stockton live, when I go back and watch these Jazz games, I'm actively only watching John Stockton and Karl Malone. I'm only watching them. I'm watching everything they do on both sides of the ball. The people who watched John Stockton play 30 years ago, they were watching the whole team. They weren't paying as much attention to detail as I've paid to go back and watch.
You don't know
so
that.
I 100% know
they
that.
Watch the game.
I know for a fact. When I'm watching games now, they watch the games. They weren't analyzing everything John Stockton was doing like I am doing. So you're trusting their 30-year-old memory of a whole basketball game over my memory of about maybe when was the last time I watched John Stockton?
But you
about 2 months ago, where I only watched him. He's the only person I watched on the court.
Percentage of his time, you didn't watch all. He played for 19 years, and you watched how?
No one watched. I will promise you this: anyone who was alive in the 90s, they watched at best 15 Utah regular season games a year.
Fact.
Unless they lived in Utah.
Best, that's how much they watched.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're trusting their memory of those games over me going back and watching. And that's at best.
Mars, not to cut you off, Mars. This is why I leave the old heads alone.
To
begin with,
we gotta have the war. We gotta have the war.
Let an old head talk real quick. Let an old head say something.
You discrediting the best pass in all sports. This is something I talk about in football, soccer, all the time. Is the simple pass. And the great thing that John Stockton was good at was recognizing the simple pass. No, it wasn't the Jokic whip pass around the court or the behind the back or whatever, but he would make more often the simple play that was the right decision and that would lead to an assist and that's just as valuable as whatever Jokic is doing passing wise. I don't like.
No, it's not.
Yes, but it's a plus. It's a plus.
I disagree with that.
Usually disagree.
It's a plus. It's a plus in football.
You
In
disagree
football.
with that. That's your opinion.
In football.
I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm only giving my
Yo,
opinion.
Mars,
Come
tell
on.
your boy
What you
Louis
saying,
I'm only
bro?
34, man. I'm
What
not
you saying,
old,
bro?
man.
Yeah, faithful is kind of.
And football, recent about football.
Let top right go, and then Ty got it at the bottom.
Listen, it's like in football. Yes, you can play the simple pass like Xavi, but you can still play the long ball like Toni Kroos. It's the same way in basketball. You can play the simple pass to Karl Malone, or you can dash it in the corner like LeBron James to J.R. Smith in the corner swish. Come on.
I'm not gonna hold you. I wish I knew soccer. So I could
Me
be on your
too.
side.
I was like,
don't
what?
soccer like that. I love everything you said.
you have,
though. I love everything you said, though.
Who?
But Ty, what you got to say, Ty?
Real quick, man. All I wanted to say was like, to me, John Stockton does not translate to today's game because there's no place for small, unathletic guards in this era. To me, a lot of those guys from back then, the Mark Prices, the John Stocktons can't play in this game. It's just not a place for them.
I think Mark Price got a better shot at today than Stockton.
I don't think so because defensively it's just too much of a liability, and they're not creating that much offense to compensate for what they lack defensively. So I don't think they have a place. But I will say that you can't discredit what these guys did in their era. It's just not fair because, you know, we can do that about a lot of different players about how they were in their era. So you got to give John Stockton credit for what he did, what he was in his era, point blank, period. Now, if you want to compare that to today's game, like last night, I'm watching the Lakers game against Dallas, and I watched the whole game. And I see Luka Doncic, who is a great player by all accounts, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying he's kicking it to guys shooting contested threes and getting assists for these. Back then, it was very, very few knockdown shooters that shot contested threes and made them at the rate these guys made them in this era. Like, they didn't even shoot contested threes like that. If a guy closed out at you, you was giving a pump fake and passing. Nowadays, they're going up and they're knocking them down. So if you take that in consideration with all these inflated assist numbers from today's game, I think you'll have, you know, a argument to say that, you know, John Stockton can swing it open to a contested three, and he might have more assists in this era. You know what I'm saying?
That's easy. That's easy, bro.
That's easy to say.
Bro.
Like these
even
guys,
even for his era, we're trying to put accurate context to it. He only finished. Hold on. John Stockton, near 20-year career, he only finished top 10 in MVP, I think, twice, and the highest he finished was 7th.
Okay.
And the Utah Jazz, with the personnel and the system that they had throughout the entire duration of Stockton's career, he underperformed. The Utah Jazz during that time have a losing record in the playoffs. Even though they made the playoffs routinely, they still have a losing record. They have more. No. Let me finish. They have more first round exits than Western Conference appearances. And when you go through those series that I remember Dub did this months ago, even when you compare go through the series, John Stockton gets outplayed by non all-time great point guards. Like Terry Porter, who was good, but he's not an all-time great point guard. Even Kenny Smith had a great series in 95 round 1 against Stockton. And Kevin Johnson too. There's multiple examples of point guards outplaying John Stockton even in this era. Now, lastly, right? I want to quote Isaiah Thomas. He said himself on open court. He felt John Stockton's inability to John Stockton's being passive to score would limit the ceiling of the Utah Jazz. The hardest part for a point guard is to balance scoring as well as facilitating. Because if you look out through NBA history, the most successful and most winning point guards had to sacrifice some of that facilitating to score more and deviate from the scheme for the betterment of their team. Isaiah Thomas knew how to facilitate, but when it came time to score, he did that. Same thing for Magic. Same thing for Oscar, even in his later years. Same thing for Walt Frazier. These are guys that are above Stockton, but people will not take that into account when they just automatically look at his numbers and assume that he's a top 5 point guard all time. We're not taking away nothing from Stockton. We're not taking away nothing from Stockton. He was a great player, one of the top 5 durable players ever.
Okay.
Mauro just said himself, top 15 passer ever.
Yeah, no, that was solid. That was solid.
It is.
Hey, great argument. That was solid.
I would say this: the only reason why Stockton is even considered a top 5 point guard by anybody, including myself, is because everything that the point guard position was built off of, bro, he represented. Like just simple pass, simple play, and then
that's not true. I don't agree with that. No, that's not true.
That's not true.
I hate that argument.
How many point guards you know? How many point guards you know?
Point guards.
How many point guards you know won a championship of just being a pass first? That was the lead. That was the second best player of their team. At least second best player of the team.
It's been plenty though. It's been plenty, but like you said,
it's only been Magic. It's only been Magic.
Hold on. You talking about point guards that are scoring point guards though. You talking about, because a lot of point guards won championships.
Are you talking about guys?
No, that was the lead. That was the second best. That was at least the second best player on their team.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem in Utah. That's the issue. Is that they had Jeff Hornacek at the 2, another unathletic. Just not a great scorer. And then who did you have at the 3 in those years? You didn't have a scorer at the 3, and then you didn't have a scorer at the 5.
That's not true either. He constantly had the Utah Jazz constantly had third scoring option that was in double digits. Jeff Hornacek, even
right, but they're not great scores though.
No, they're good is the bare minimum scores. Your main guys are John Stockton and Malone. I'm telling you, even throughout their whole 19-year career together, they always had good role players. Always had good role players.
They needed more scoring.
But they needed more scoring. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's my point. You got Eaton at the center. You got a plethora of guys at the 3, and then you got Jeff Hornacek at the 2. Jeff Hornacek's not an elite scorer. Eaton's not an elite scorer, and whoever you had at the 3 was an elite scorer. So now you count on that, huh?
No one said elite.
I'm talking about above average. Those are average guys. You can find a lot of Jeff Hornaceks in the league. Come on,
MVP Karl Malone.
What he mean is a guy that
a very good guy.
What he mean is a guy that could go off for like a big night on any given night.
A one-on-one type of score.
Yeah, other than Karl Malone, they didn't have
his own bucket. They didn't have it.
So Karl One was a bucket.
That could go off.
He was a bucket, but he wasn't getting.
I said more help. I said when you're
just like AD, right? AD is a great weapon, but you got to feed him.
So no, even in that era, they had plenty of help. They had a system that optimizes their 2 best players.
I told you before,
in that era,
they didn't have help.
In that era, the majority of teams that won didn't have 3 superstar or elite scorers. No,
like who?
That's not the case.
Like who?
That's what I'm telling you. That's not the case for that era.
Like who?
Yeah,
what you mean, like who?
You name the teams.
Hall of Famers.
You said
the Bulls won 3 championships. Only had 2 superstars. The Hakeem literally won by when he was the only player as a superstar, and he was the only player to score that averaged more than 20 points.
That's not true.
That's a fact.
That's not
true.
What
are you talking about? 94 that happened.
He had shooters though. Vernon Maxwell.
No, how many of them was elite scores? How many of them were elite scores?
Sam Cassell.
Vernon Maxwell could go off.
Sam Cassell was an elite scorer?
I didn't say he was an elite scorer, but Sam Cassell got you buckets in the post. Sam Cassell was good. Kenny Smith was really good. Vernon Maxwell was really good.
So if the Bulls, if I give you, I just gave you 2 examples.
Sam Cassell only averaged like 7 points in that postseason series.
No,
which one? The championship run?
Team was the only player.
Well, who was the scores? Give me the scores. Give me the numbers.
Team was the only player on that team that averaged more than 20 points in the regular season and the postseason.
Kenny Smith was 14. Vernon Maxwell was 13. Robert Horry was 10. Otis Thorpe was 7. Sam Cassell was 7.
Okay, so you have 4 double digits.
But
double digits.
Huh? No. I'm just saying. And you got Akeem Olajuwon too. Come on now. Now you're talking about you compare who's better, Karl Malone or Akeem?
No, so now you're moving the goalposts. At first you said that Utah didn't have enough help, but then I gave you multiple examples of teams that have multiple elite scores.
What I'm saying is John Stockton as your second best scorer is not good enough. That's what I'm saying. That's the general match.
Yeah, Stockton was the one with the limitations.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying. Stockton is the one with the limitations.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, I agree. He's not a scoring. I'm saying Stockton did his job, but he wasn't elite.
The Utah Jazz front office knew that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They knew that.
When you put Jeff Hornacek at the 3 and at the 2 and expecting that to carry, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
John Stockton in that postseason series did play really bad. He only had 14 on 41 from the field and then 26 from three.
And Dub, I want you to use this next time.
Against the Bulls?
Dub, I want you to use this point the next time somebody try to put Stockton above CP3.
Okay.
Stockton, CP3 had a better finals than both of Stockton's finals appearances. Period.
Well, yeah, because
go watch the game.
98 is one of the worst point guard final series I've ever seen.
Go watch the games.
That's just a weird comp. I've seen CP3.
That's kind of unfair, man. Like,
it's unfair.
It is.
I gave you multiple examples of non-all-star, non-all-time great point guards cooking John Stockton. I told you they had the system, the complementary players to be successful, and I gave you examples of other teams that did win,
with that.
Didn't have as many.
We disagree with that.
We disagree with that, man.
No, because y'all nostalgia. Y'all stuck in this narrative.
I'm not nostalgia. I'm telling you, Jeff Hornacek was not that good. I'm telling you, Greg.
And I'm telling you, in that era, you didn't need multiple elite scores to win. You didn't.
We all agreed the Utah Jazz during that time wasn't that good. Come on. Like,
what are you talking about? They wasn't that good. What?
They had great regular seasons, but when it came down to the postseason,
they went to the finals. They went to the finals.
They did go to the finals, but I'm talking like they went to the finals way past their peak. They as y'all like to call it. And this is what Mars touched on. He said from 89 to 1995. Anytime after that was after they peak. So my thing is just like all the teams that they played into their peak. You talking about Olajuwon? Who else they played? Barkley. I think they played. They got beat by Gary Payton and Sean.
No,
Kemp.
Barkley wasn't there when they got eliminated by the Suns. Barkley wasn't there. Nope.
Okay, all right. So who else? What about the Blazers with Drexler that made the finals twice? I believe they was in the 80s. They was in the 80s during the time during that last Lakers run. When the Lakers
and they lost to Golden State.
Yeah, so we give them.
And they lost to Golden State, the team that never made it. But my thing,
they're losers. Yes, thank you.
Yes,
they're losers.
I agree.
I agree. I agree.
That hurts.
I agree. But
You name one Hall of Famers versus two.
Exactly.
Like
what we all touching on is that when you compare that team to the Olajuwon team, and Dub said the names of Robert Horry, Kenny Smith, Sam Cassell, Vernon Maxwell. A lot of those players, they weren't elite, but they were able to go off of big games at any given time.
Right.
Utah never had that
at any given time. How many of those games you talking about?
That's Stockton's fault.
It was a few games.
That's Stockton.
Well, name a few. Name a few.
Vernon Maxwell, if I'm not mistaken, he had a
he had a monster game.
No, don't help him out. Don't help him out.
Okay.
He had a couple of games in the postseason and during their first run. The 95 run, if I'm not mistaken, Kenny Smith hit about maybe 6 or 7 threes.
Yeah, that's a great
game against Orlando.
That's a great game.
In the 90s, that's crazy. What you mean?
So all these games that you having a hard time listing, you only gave me one. Specifically, you only gave me one.
Man, listen, look.
Okay.
If you want to look them up, you can look them up.
Yeah,
but
I'm not great at
Would you agree
regurgitating
those Houston teams had better floor spacing than the Jazz? How about that?
Hold on.
I just know Vernon Maxwell.
What I'm saying is you can get more out of Vernon Maxwell, Sam Cassell, Kenny Smith, Robert Horry than you can get out of the other players outside of on the Jazz outside of
Malone.
Who's the players there? If y'all keep saying who these players are net, can y'all at least tell me them?
I told you, Jeff Hornacek,
Byron Russell.
Tag there?
He was a bit late.
Who else they had? They had Benjamin Benoit, some shit.
Right.
David
Jeff Malone. I'm like,
yes, but if your Stockton is so great, why can't he do something about the lost?
We're holding John Stockton to top 5 point guard standards, top 5 on all-time position standards.
Okay.
All these other point guards were for large parts of their career were the best players on their team, leading teams to success in the regular season, making deep postseason runs, making postseason runs.
Who?
Jason Kidd was making postseason runs consistently in his prime. Steve Nash was making postseason runs and being much better in the regular season than John Stockton.
I understand that, but you got to talk about who those guys were playing with. Because Jason Kidd wasn't a great scorer either. Steve Nash wasn't a superb scorer, huh?
He wasn't a great scorer. I agree with that. These
so
players have limitations.
So you got to take that into consideration.
I do when I rank these players. All these players have limitations. The issue with John Stockton, when I speak about John Stockton's limitations, is that wasn't his job. Everyone else,
Elder hated.
You acknowledge the limitations.
What's that?
I
couldn't hear him.
Wait, hold on. Who talking?
Go ahead, Mars. I didn't hear what Mars said. What did he say?
Oh, I said when we were talking about all these other point guards, we acknowledged their limitations. Jason Kidd wasn't a very good scorer either. We acknowledged those limitations.
Right.
Maybe if he was a better scorer, he'd probably rank higher, but he wasn't.
Sure.
So we acknowledged that. Steve Nash, he wasn't as aggressive of a scorer as we would like, and his defense wasn't very good.
100%.
We acknowledged those weaknesses. Magic Johnson, to some degree, we talk about how he wasn't a great defender. We talk about those things. Steph Curry, the same thing. Oscar Robertson, we talk about how he couldn't get it done in Cincinnati, and he kind of needed Kareem to get it done. He couldn't get it done as a number one. We talk about those things. When we talk about John Stockton's limitations, it's always, it wasn't his job to score. That wasn't his role. He didn't have enough help. John Stockton is the only player who we give all these excuses to when he was the second best player for the most part.
Is it really?
It's not an excuse. It's just a fact to me. It's not an excuse. It's a
that's
fact.
fine. But John Stockton is the only player we use all of these caveats and these things for. He was the second best player on the team for the majority of his prime.
Why ain't
he never won.
Standard as Chris
And we acknowledge these limitations, and all
Right.
it is that wasn't his job. Like, I don't get why we can't just speak about John Stockton objectively, talk about his great strengths. He was a very good passer. He was a great playmaker. He was a great defender, and acknowledge that he was also a limited player and he wasn't as perfect as people seem to say.
No, I agree with all of that. But my thing is when you try to discredit his passing by saying, and I'm not a big John Stockton fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm not. All I'm saying is that when you try to discredit what he did in his era, saying that he wasn't a good passer because of this system and that system and all that stuff, that's when I have an issue. To knock him down and say he was, you almost saying he was weak in his era to me. Like a lot of people.
Oh, well, if that's how it came across, I didn't mean. I've never tried to. When I judge these players, it's simply relative to their time. Yeah. I've always called John Stockton a great passer. I just don't have him in the top 5, maybe not the top 10.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
I think he's a top 15 passer. That's fine. I think he's one of the 20 best playmakers ever. I think he's one of the best point guard defenders.
Because of his longevity, bro. We say the same thing about LeBron, bro. Come on.
No, the difference is LeBron actually had a high peak.
There's a big difference between LeBron and John Stockton.
LeBron has the longevity, and he was better than damn near everyone.
And he has 4 chips. And he got 4 rings.
He has the longevity.
Come on, bro.
If I ask you seriously, who's better between John Stockton and Russell Westbrook? I don't think you should be saying John Stockton. Me personally, I think Russell Westbrook is just clearly a better player than John Stockton.
Hold on,
Dub, let me get this off. Just one thing, man.
Let me say real quick.
That's all fine and good, man. But but most of the things that relate to the point guard position, John Stockton's represented, bro. Like, let's stop acting like we don't know what the TikTok is when it comes to John Stockton. Like, he just did it, bro. Like,
I don't like that argument.
You're not gonna find another 19-year career like as durable and as maxed out in terms of like totals, in terms of giving you almost everything that a point guard is supposed to give you.
90 chances to win the finals.
That's no one ever in the history of mankind has ever discredited John Stockton's longevity. No one. I think everyone.
That's what makes him a top point guard.
90 chances to make the finals.
When we're talking about John Stockton, we're saying he's not better than a lot of these guys. If you want to say his longevity is great, but if I say he's better than Steve, he's not better than Steve Nash. He's not better than Jason Kidd. He's not better than Chris Paul. He's not better than Steph Curry. He's not better than Magic Johnson. He's not better than Oscar Robertson. To me, he's not better than Russell.
He's not better than Jerry West.
He's not better than Jerry West. There's a lot of guys who he's just not as good as. He had longevity, but he wasn't as good.
All right, fine. At the point guard position, in terms of doing everything, almost everything a point guard is entitled to do, I think he was better than most in terms of his whole body of work. But is he better than Nash or Curry as a player? No. But at the point guard position, I thought he did a whole bunch of things that pertain to that position and what he was supposed to do. Did he?
That's all fact. But when you say that Steve Nash is not better than Russell Westbrook at the point guard position, I got a problem with that because
Thank you.
Russell Westbrook is a horrible decision maker, horrible turnovers, horrible in the fourth quarter taking bad shots. Yes, he has great numbers. Yes, he has great stats. But I almost guarantee you cannot win with Russell Westbrook as your starting point guard.
Nash and Russell Westbrook?
Oh, he's definitely better than Stockton.
We're talking about Steve Nash and Russell Westbrook or John Stockton and Russell Westbrook?
I thought
John Stockton and Russell Westbrook.
Oh, he's definitely better. So even with all the things you just said about Russell Westbrook, John Stockton proven that you can't win with his style of play either.
2 finals appearances going up against Michael Jordan. Hold on.
Did he win?
Hold on. Let me finish, bro. No, he didn't win. But at the same time, I feel with a better team around him. If he had Kevin Durant and all these other guys around him that Russell Westbrook has, then maybe it might be a different outcome. Maybe not. I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm holding Russell Westbrook accountable for a lot of his team's problems. And I don't think John Stockton was necessarily a problem. It's just that his GM didn't put him in a position to win against that Chicago Bulls team, period.
All right, so I'm going to say this before Doug will take people out.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Leaf, you can stay up here. Erison, appreciate you, brother. I got to get you up out of here.
Appreciate it.
I'm gone. I'm gone, big up.
All right, you be easy, Tyson.
Yeah, y'all take care, man. Have a good one. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes, sir, brother. Be safe, man.
I enjoyed that discussion.
Yeah,
me too.
it was
I'm
good.
trying to,
That was a good discussion, man. But I just think that John Stockton did more that a point guard entitled to do than anybody did, man. That's all. Man.
Leave. I'm trying to get Elder up here, so I gotta make some more room, and I don't want to kick anybody who's been in the waiting room.
Oh, Elder?
No, but
Elder.
You missed the Elder. Like he said, he's busy. He's on the move. But if he joins up, I don't know.
Okay. He's busy. Never mind. But I still gotta give him new people. Hey, Sturdy, you could come up here. You could stay up here for a little bit. Keep cooking on John Stockton. But Lee, appreciate you, brother. You be easy, my guy.
All right, I'll be back, man. I guess.
Yes, sir.
Yo, get them likes up, yo.
Get them likes up for sure.
Hey, Sturdy doing our job. That's fire.
Yeah, that is fire.
For free.
What's good, fellas? How y'all feeling today?
Good. What's happening? What's going on, Maz?
Straightway George's Elder, right?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. Elder Rufus, that's you?
Yeah, it's me. Can y'all hear me?
Okay. Yep. We hear you, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Bless y'all, man. I ain't gonna stay long, but I accept the challenge. Somebody put the challenge out there of debating Sturdy on this. Okay. I'll come. What time this show start?
We started at 5.
At 5
it just started now. It just started.
No problem. 5 o'clock. I don't get on typically this late because y'all know I keep the 7-day Sabbath. So when the sun go down, I'm done with this stuff.
Yeah.
So my son about to go down in like 10 minutes. I'll come back next week. I'll be here at 5 o'clock. Y'all want that debate? It won't take long. I'll cook it in about 10 minutes.
It won't.
10 minutes. That's all I need.
I'll try to start it. I'll try to start it earlier for you, just for you, man.
Yep. But I'll be back next Friday, and I'll go ahead and take that debate, and I'll see. Now I know what we debating and everything. See, last time I debated Sturdy, it was on a BS channel. I didn't even know what the hell we was talking about. But by the time I figured it out, I still cooked it, and the people in the chat agreed. That's why he didn't win.
See, Dub, you see how? Remember when Floyd beat Pacquiao and Pacquiao all these excuses, even though he was begging for the fight? That's what this is right now. And it's gonna be a reminder next week.
Hold on, now get it right. I'm not begging for no fight. They asked me to debate you. You always trying to debate me. Is that not right? I ain't never once asked you to debate me.
No, that's not what I said. I said when Floyd beat Pacquiao, he was complaining. That's what I said.
Yeah, I might as well start
begging for the fight. I ain't begging for nothing. You always begging me to debate you. Now I'm going to accept it. Since you dogging Stockton, now I'm going to accept it. And we're going to Floyd. We're going to see. All right.
That's fire, yo. Tune in next week.
I'll be back next week on this channel, 5 o'clock. I don't need but 10 minutes to cook Sturdy on this topic.
Fired. I appreciate you, bro. You be safe.
Y'all have a good weekend. I'll see you next Friday. Salute, y'all. Yes,
sir. Salute. Shout out to Elder, bro. If you guys haven't already, check out Ask Elder, bro. I think it's every Tuesday, every now. And yeah, bro. Shout out to Elder, bro. Great guy. Well, what else you got? Anybody else has anything to say about this John Stockton take? Because I got a couple questions from super chats I think needs to be answered.
I think when Maz started rattling off like a top 5, I feel like that kind of ended the debate about whether or not he's top 5, in my opinion.
John Stockton is not a top 5 point guard.
Nah, he's not top
8 or 9. He's 8 or 9.
Monday, 12:30 p.m. My bad, Elder.
I'm glad we're all on the same page about John Stockton.
Like,
I hate how people talk about him. It's
He
disgraceful.
should be mentioned with like Gary Payton and them.
And whoever said the
Mar, you be going a little hard though.
I'm just honest.
You've been going a little hard because John Stockton, he's not top 5. I get you because we got plenty of point guards in the history of the game that are better and have won championships. But you got to give him credit for being able to lead that Jerry Sloan system for all those years, accumulating those assists as well. Y'all ain't really talked about all the steals he done got. Like, he leading the league in history of steals. So, like, it's crazy y'all ain't mentioned that yet.
I gave him credit. I said he was one of the best. I said he was one of the best point guard defenders of all time. I said
no,
that.
but what does that mean though?
That means that if you want to like build a team, John Stockton is that like one of those top point guards in the history of the game that you'll want to lead your team because he'll lead any system and he'll do it very well.
Okay, that's why most people got him top 10, and I'm pretty sure majority of this panel got him top 10 barely. But I'm asking you, when you said he's the all-time leading steals, I'm asking you, what does that mean as a player? Or what does that?
He's one of the best point guard defenders of all time.
Oh,
because of the steals or
because of the steals?
Defense.
I mean, just more than the steals because we know steals can play into passing lanes and everything like that. But he was great on ball, period, man. When you watch the games, he was a great on ball defender.
Euro, get up here then, Euro. Get up here then, Euro. He say he top 5. Euro, I want you. I've been waiting for you, and you haven't been on. I want you, Euro. You.
I'm not gonna lie, Dub. Angry Euro dangerous.
Angry Euro, Angry Dub. I've been itching for that sighting, bro. I've been itching for that sighting for a minute now, bro. I need it. I need it.
I have a hard time, like especially if you rank the old guys like the Oscar Robertsons. I didn't even say Isaiah Thomas. I forgot him. It's hard to say John Stockton's top 5 when you got Steph, Magic, Isaiah Thomas, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West. Even guys like Walt Frazier, even Steve Paul. Nash, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul. Like I think I've named like 8 guys, and to me,
I'll take him over Westbrook. Now I disagree with you on that one. I'll take him over Westbrook.
But even then, he's still like 8, 9.
I disagree with that, but that's fine. Even if you did say you take him over Russ, like that's cool. He's still back end of top 10 at best.
Like he's fighting to be in the top 10. Let's be real.
Like eight between 8 and 10. You know what I'm saying? Between 8 and 10.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see why that's a big issue.
Personally. I got a couple questions from the super chat. Should the Houston Rockets sign a Rajon Rondo to mentor Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green in ball handling, time of possession, and time management?
They need to fire Steven Silas. That's what they need to do. Just fire Steven Silas. Like,
let them vibe in Houston, man. Let them vibe.
No, don't let them vibe because Jalen Green is being stunted right now by bad coaching.
No, but Rondo has been a player coach for years now. I swear. Just going around the league.
No, I don't need to see them vibe. I need them to get Wembanyama and win a championship next year.
That's what I'm saying. So vibe for this season, get Wembanyama, and then from there we go.
No, because one off season of good coaching isn't going to be enough. They need coaching right now because Kevin Porter Jr. is looking like the worst point guard in NBA history.
What coach would you bring in, though, Maris, for them? What coach would you say they need?
I mean, if Kenny Atkinson don't want to be an assistant anymore, that'd be great.
I'm a casual. I'll be lying if I knew that is. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Kenny Atkinson was coaching the Nets a couple years ago when they had D'Lo and that. But like any type, like because I've seen what he did with D'Lo. He made D'Lo look like an all-star caliber player. And what I'm watching with Kevin Porter Jr. is bad. It's really bad. So I just need anybody besides Steven Silas, to be honest, because I'm struggling to watch Houston games.
Got you. Another super chat from AB. Can y'all please talk about how Paul Pierce was overrated, never was a top 10 player in his time? He came in with another super chat later on. No order, better than overrated Paul Pierce. Kobe, Iverson, Shaq, KG, Tim Duncan, T-Mac, Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Vince Carter, Early Braun, debatable, VC and Weber.
That's crazy. We just had Vince Carter on here.
No, I think Paul Pierce was top 10 in the early 2000s. I think he was.
Back end.
In the early 2000s?
I mean, yeah, people forget about like 2002, like Paul Pierce,
Mhm.
like when he actually had a bit of athleticism to him, and like him and Antoine Walker, like they were actually okay. I'm not gonna say a great duo, but they're actually a really good duo. But Paul Pierce, I think he's overrated by the Finals MVP when people say he was the best player in the Boston Celtics. That's not true.
Definitely.
But I do think he was a top 10 player at parts of his career, and like I think like the Paul Pierce, Carmelo Anthony like conversation is a real thing. So I don't think he's necessarily overrated. It just depends on who you talk to and whether or not they're accolade merchants or not.
Okay.
Oh.
Anybody
Hey,
else?
whilst we're on the topic of old heads and old players and whatnot, John Stockton, this, that, and the other, who, apart from like Shaq, Kobe, Michael Jordan stuff, who could win MVP and certain other titles in today's game? You know how they're always talking about such and such, he'd win this, he'd do this nowadays. Could John Stockton win any awards in today's game?
John Stockton could never win an MVP. Probably win a steals champ, assist title, but he will never win an MVP. Mainly because it's just like, Euro. I got
John
it.
Stockton wouldn't even be near Trae Young or anyone like that in this day.
What about other old players?
I'm not doing the modern game comparisons. That's when it gets real crazy.
I'm not doing that.
Players who could win like awards, well, the obvious ones is like Tim Duncan would win Defensive Player of the Year in this era easily. I think a guy like it's hard to win an MVP though, because like Jokic is just crazy. But like there's a lot of talented players, like for example, a Chris Webber in today's game, I think would be much better than he was in the 2000s. He was already great. But I don't know if he'd be an MVP caliber player, but I think he'd be like
30 more NBA.
He'd be one of the best big men in the league for sure. So it's kind of hard to figure that out. But guys like Magic Johnson would be trash. But
I don't know if this is a crazy I don't know if this is a crazy question though, but would players from yesterday's game transition better to today's game than today's players would transition to yesterday's game?
I think it goes both ways. If you want to play the hypothetical argument that, I'm gonna give somebody a chance. Let's go. My bad.
Well, you had the answer I was going to give, so
might as well say.
Yeah, like it's going both. Great players. Great players for the most part are going to be great in any era. Like because what made them great is the fact that their innovation, their natural talents, and simple focus and consistency to be great. So when we measure, really greatness is how well you do relative to your era. That's how most people do it anyway.
I don't know. I think evolution. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. It's kind of hard for me to sit here and think like. My thing is, I could give people the benefit of doubt where you could be good in any era, but like to dominate in the same manner is just something that's just difficult for me to grasp. Mainly because, like Kareem, for instance, and you know we always argue about Kareem. But
please use.
I find it very difficult for a guy to come in an era where versatility is key. I find it very difficult for a guy to come in and just dominate the league, mainly just out of the post. You feel me? Like, I just don't see it, especially when I don't think he's going to be that great, as great as he was defensively back then as he is today, mainly because he has to play on the perimeter a lot more than back then. And it's just something that I just don't think he could dominate in the same fashion, especially with a higher talent pool as well. So will he be good? Sure. I'll say he'll be great. Top 10, arguably top 5. But to say he would dominate the same way he did in the 70s is like,
for sure.
I can't do it. I can't get with that.
How many people in today's game?
What was Rudy Gobert doing for like 5 years in Utah?
He was DPOY.
And he wasn't doing much out on the perimeter.
But he would have to find a system and like he would have to find a system like that in order for that to work. And
So
that
that's
doesn't happen a lot. That doesn't happen a lot.
You got to preface that though. That's what I'm saying. You can't just say Kareem won't do this if he's not in a system that will enable him to do that or require him to do that. You know what I'm saying? You got to preface that because just like Kareem would definitely be the best player on this team, depending on what you put him on, right? So just like every team, you're gonna build that team around him. So and thus building that team, you're getting the personnel to compensate for his weaknesses.
He has a lot of weaknesses to compensate for. That's my point.
Oh,
I think you understand. I think like
he needed a point
he was
guard.
a fluid athlete. He could
Number one, he needed a point guard to create plays for him and his team. in order to put him and his teammates to the next level. On top of that, the perimeter defense he's going to need in today's era. On top of that, you're going to need three-point shooting because he doesn't provide floor spacing. I think there's just a lot of things to build around him for, and you have to make up for him in today's era that I just don't think is sustainable for a team, for a championship team.
So basically, you're going to build him the same way you build around Joel Embiid.
No, probably not. Probably not.
I think Embiid is better in this area.
You definitely would need a playmaker, yes, but Joel
You need
Embiid
spacing.
Joel Embiid, not as much spacing as Kareem, though.
What?
We're just talking about building around play. This
Building
applies
around
to
Joel
every
Embiid.
player ever. This applies to every player ever.
To the extent to the extent where you would need to have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is worse than Joel Embiid is my point.
All right, damn, that's.
I'm serious. Hold up, the lobby's full. I gotta get Euro up here, man. I definitely gotta get Euro up here, bro.
Yeah, but I'm gonna spread the wealth, bro. I'm gonna catch y'all next week. I'll be in the chat.
Appreciate you, bro.
But y'all get them likes up, man.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
Facts.
Mars.
Yes.
Euro, try now.
This isn't basketball related, but I just got a question.
Okay.
Like it's football related.
that's crazy. I was gonna ask footy one as well. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
How do you feel about Anthony Martial being a better player than Gabriel Jesus?
Oh
That's just my question.
Do you believe that?
I genuinely believe that, yeah.
Get this man out of here, man.
Like, bro, if
Yeah,
you give me a chance to come on
get him
footy,
down,
I'll
get him
explain.
down.
I'll explain it. It actually makes sense when I explain it.
So your plan to get on footy was to make an egregious hot take on
Not even an egregious hot take. It's
an egregious take. Whether or not you believe it or not, it's still egregious. It's terrible.
I don't think it's egregious.
What does he do well?
He's delusional.
What does he do well?
Huh?
What does he do better?
Yeah. I think he's a better goal scorer than Jesus.
Not
As a number 9, I take Martial over Jesus. Wholehearted.
Where these goals you've been seeing? Where are they?
When he's been fully healthy and played the number 9 position, actually played his best season, scored more goals than Jesus. Best season.
So when is Jesus' best season?
Jesus' best season, I'd say it was the season Aguero was in and out of the lineup. I'd say that was his best season.
Okay, and what's Jesus like goal per minute ratio in the Premier League?
Goal per minute ratio. I'm not doing the goal per minute ratio.
I'm just asking because that you're talking about goal scoring, so we have to talk about how much they're playing and how much.
I think Jesus' goal per. I'm not 100% sure. I think
it's elite. It was one of the
very
best.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we're talking
I'm
about
just talking about like if we take the best seasons.
Okay.
I think Martial's best season is better than Jesus' best season.
Martial's best season is what? 1920?
1920. 23 goal contributions.
Neither of them brothers have had decent, like, in any inspirational seasons. Let's be real.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I think Martial.
Mid-level
players, it's Gabriel Jesus.
What do you mean mid-level?
I don't think.
Well. No, it's fine. You can say mid-level if you want.
But that is not the Euro. He's a fucking asshole. I was so happy and excited, bro. That's crazy. He got me.
Oh, you got baited that badly.
I got baited, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Hey, yo, Mars, I gotta hear from you though, man. I want to hear like why you got Westbrook over Stockton.
Okay. When I'm judging these players and I say who's better is simply at peak. So I'm simply talking peak. Longevity, Stockton's got it. When I'm looking at peak Russell Westbrook, I think clearly we can all agree he's a better scorer than John Stockton. I would hope we can all agree with that. Yeah, I think his rim pressure provided a ton of value. His ability to get downhill and create plays for his teammates was more valuable than a lot of John Stockton's idle passing. When I'm looking at Westbrook as the creator and a playmaker, I think the opportunities he was creating and how much he was creating also provided equal, if not better value than the opportunities John Stockton was creating. Now, the issue with Westbrook, obviously, is the amount of times it would mess up and it'd lead to inevitable turnovers and bad decisions.
Right.
My counter to that would be the amount of times John Stockton would pass up the opportunity to make high leverage plays in favor of a very simple pass that would also create nothing. To me, is just as much of a detriment as the bad decisions Westbrook would make. To me, they're both bad decisions. Just Westbrook's ones they're more clear to see because it's actual turnovers, whereas John Stockton is just creating absolutely nothing by just throwing the ball ideally to the wing or throwing a basic pass to Karl Malone. To me, they're both bad decisions, but one is obviously going to get demonized more. So to me, they're both very similar in terms of how much of a detriment they can be. And for me, Westbrook's added rim pressure, better scoring, and to me, overall opportunity creation being better is why I think Pete Westbrook is a better player than John Stockton.
Okay, so the I feel like the most important thing about the point guard position is like the decision making at the point guard position. Despite your talent, despite everything, like mainly just the talent, it's definitely like the decision making that you make with the ball in your hands. And the fact that you say like you think that the fact that John Stockton passes the ball and nothing happens, that's worse than Westbrook causing a turnover. And the team
That's not what I said. No, I said. I said
Okay.
John Stockton. I'll say it very clearly so nothing's misconstrued.
Okay.
John Stockton looking away, high opportunity passes, high opportunities in favor of throwing vanilla passes that lead to nothing and just keep the offense moving to create no shots is just as much or maybe a slightly worse detriment to the team than Westbrook making some reckless decisions with the ball that lead to turnovers. Westbrook's turnovers get, to me, more demonized because a turnover is easier to recognize than someone just throwing a basic pass that leads to nothing. I do think Westbrook's turnovers are worse than John Stockton's bad decision making, as I would call it, but I don't think they're as far off as people would say.
All right, it Slick is a very far off because I think Westbrook is already like top 5 in turnovers, right? And he's playing like he's gonna be playing a whole lot more years, and like turning the ball over is just way worse, man, than
But he
just
also
passing the ball
creates
and nothing happens. But I don't think John Stockton wasn't passing the ball and nothing happened. A lot of times he was passing the ball to Karl Malone, and I had looked up because he and Karl Malone hooked up for 10.8 assists per game during their career, and I feel like that shit that's stunning. That's a lot of assists to one player. So I mean, he was passing it to Karl Malone because Karl Malone was money. And then like you can say that Karl Malone definitely needed John Stockton just as much as John Stockton needed Karl Malone. And just like I said earlier, from the decision making, man, like when you making decisions with the ball, I mean, the worst thing you can do is turn the ball over. The worst thing you can do is like make a bad shot, bad decision making, shooting the ball. I mean, that's definitely something you got to worry about Westbrook. I definitely see John Stockton leading his team to a championship way before I see Westbrook ever doing that, and that's just based off of the decision making and like his ability to just take good and smart shots.
Mars,
Yes.
I got a question. I got a question in relation to that. When you go back and look on clips, I've been genuinely curious about this. How are you able to gauge just from the clips like how much these players meant to each team, like off the ball, like everything they bring to the game, like everything that epitomized that player that these old heads are holding on to, if you will, everything that made them what they are. How are you able to encapsulate that when you're looking at clips and things like and stats and stuff like that? Maybe that's what's missing in the debates, the context.
I mean, everything I say is entirely subjective and it's simply down to what I see and then how I believe it translates to different situations. So I can't say, for example, I can't put a measure on, for example, Steph Curry's off-ball movement and the value it has beyond. I can say when I watch Steph Curry play in his off-ball movement, I can see that has an immeasurable impact on Golden State's offense, and to me, that's creating a ton of plays. I can't give you how many opportunities that's creating because I don't know if there's numbers for that, nor would I bother to look it up. I can just say what I'm seeing and how I believe that's translating. And for some reason, people are still failing to understand what I'm saying with the John Stockton thing. So I'll say it once again. John Stockton
is the argument that he's not. It's that he wasn't as good as people say he was. That he wasn't top 5. What is the argument? Just again,
the argument I'm
hold on. There's a super chat here. Is John Stockton overrated compared to other all-time greats, or is it just overrated as a basketball player overall? And that resonates with the question you just asked, Louis. In my opinion, I think it's one and the same. For example, saying that John Stockton is a locked top 5 point guard of all time is just ridiculous in my opinion, especially if you include the old heads, right? Because you're going to have Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Oscar Robertson, and Stephen Curry is always going to be above him. So to say that he automatically takes that 5th spot every single time is just ludicrous in itself, especially when a guy like a Chris Paul, a guy like a Jason Kidd, All of those guys, I would be willing to argue, they did more with less than what John Stockton had. John Stockton had the benefit of playing with a guy like a Karl Malone, who was a top 25 player in NBA history, or 30, whichever one. Top 25 to 30 player in NBA history, while Jason Kidd and Chris Paul didn't have the benefit of playing with a guy like that for the majority of their career. The only time Chris Paul had that was on the Houston Rockets, and look what he did when he actually had somebody like that. He took arguably the greatest player of all time, the greatest team of all time, to a game 7, and it's still arguable to this day that they could have beaten that team if he didn't get hurt. That's why, in my opinion, to just sit here and overrate him like that is just ridiculous in itself. Especially considering the fact there's a lot of postseasons where they lost because of him. There's a lot. There's a lot of postseasons where they lost because of him. People talk about CP3 playoff choker. Look at John Stockton and his playoff resume. It's not pretty. It is not pretty at all.
Yeah, it's a lot of first round issues.
Fluent brings up that one time where he scored 27 points in a postseason. Cool. What about 94? What about 94 where he wet the bed? I think there was another one like 88 or 89 where he wet the bed again. There was teams game planning for John Stockton and his lack of aggressiveness. They were banking on that, and that's what he did. So no, to sit here and try to say he's just a lock top 5 guy, and over guys like CP3 and Jason Kidd who did more in their careers than John Stockton did, nah. With less.
So Dub, you feel like John Stockton, that he should have sacrificed some of those assists to score more, and you feel like that would have helped his team win more?
It could have. I think it could have, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. Yep. Regardless, you say, and the whole narrative, they didn't ask him to do it. They didn't ask. That's a fucking lie. That is a lie. I'm sorry. If you're a player in a position like that, you're going to do whatever it takes to win. And if a team is consistently losing, they're not going to sit here and be like, you know what, keep playing the way you are. Because then, if you keep playing the way you are, then one day we may just win. No, that's just a lie. He just, in my opinion, he was just incapable of doing that. He just was.
Keep cooking.
Like, bro, it's just people just lie about this man. It's just ridiculous to see on a year in and year out basis.
I wouldn't say he was incapable, though, because like before Jerry Sloan was his coach, wasn't he kind of like a 2010 type point guard? Like he really wasn't getting too many assists, but he was like up in like 22, 20, 23 a game before Jerry Sloan was his coach.
I don't think he ever averaged 20, right? I think the most he had was like 18, 19.
I don't know, but he did have, when he was younger, he was
more of a scorer.
Yeah, but for me, from what I've seen, that came more from him just attacking more in transition. The half-court offense has been pretty consistent throughout his whole career. There wasn't much aggression there. He was quicker, so he attacked more in transition and looked to score more there. I'm sure if they had play-by-play data, you'd see that when he was averaging 16, 17, maybe about 8 or maybe about 6 or 7 of those points per game were coming in transition more than him just attacking in the half court. I don't think his half court game really changed much throughout his career. And that's why I say someone who is very passive can have just as much of a negative effect on the team's offense as someone who's too aggressive. They're both equal parts on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Someone who's too aggressive hurts your team offense with bad passes, bad turnovers, bad decisions. Someone who's too passive hurts your offense with not creating enough opportunities. Ben Simmons helps that. Ben Simmons is the too passive side, and a guy like Russell Westbrook is he's the too aggressive side. Both of those guys, we can see they both have clear negative effects on teams' offenses, even though one is clearly doing something that is more visible, I guess, with the turnovers and the reckless decisions. John Stockton, to me, falls on that side of the too passive, where the fact that he's not taking the attack to people when he gets a switch on a pick and roll, the fact that he won't take pull-up jump shots when the shot is clearly there and he'll end up passing the ball and the opportunity starts to fizzle out, the fact that he'll dribble the ball for 12 seconds at the top of the key waiting for someone to curl or waiting for Karl Malone to get deep post position, and then the opportunity fizzles out and you end up with a low percentage shot with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. All of those things to me have just as much or close to as much of a negative effect as Russell Westbrook thinking there's an opening when there's not and ends up throwing the ball out of bounds. They both just hurt the offense. That's my issue with both of them.
All right, Mark. So like I usually don't do hypotheticals, but when I do, like they usually make sense. So like if you think about it,
everyone
like, Westbrook in like 2013-14 when he was with KD, the decision making he was doing, like in 2012 and everything, it was like off of the shots he was making. Like Magic had said his series performance, like that was the worst performance I've seen from a point guard. If you put John Stockton in that position when he's a pass first to KD, they have a much better chance at winning.
They lose.
Much better.
They lose. They lose.
Okay,
Wait,
much better chance of winning. Okay, I can't.
Wait. So you're saying they lose?
But do you think they win?
Miami Heat.
Do you think they win? Do you think they win?
I think they'll win. I think they'll win versus the Miami Heat in
They
2012.
they don't go up. They don't win against the Miami Heat. Number one. Number two, they don't even beat the 2016 Warriors, because people always forget this, right? Russell West, regardless of what people say, like Russell Westbrook being that aggressive guy in which he was a big part of the reason why they were up 3-1.
Thank you.
Like he was having like damn near 10 free throws a game.
And they would have did the same thing.
He averaged 27 in the first 4 games, I believe.
Yeah, and he was going at them. And when you look at the surrounding pieces, who else do you want with the ball? Roberson, Ibaka, Adams. You want those guys taking shots? Anthony Morrow. Those guys ain't going to put the team over the top if John Stockton's being passive and getting those guys open looks, because they going to brick it.
John Stockton. No. John Stockton, he would have definitely put KD in the game. Like Karl Malone is a 36,000 point scorer, like all time, 36,000 points. Like KD, like with a passer like John Stockton, like he definitely would have put them in a better position to win in those playoff series. And I'm glad you brought up 2016 too, because I mean they was up 3-1, and then you can say like what Westbrook brought to that team did that, but at the same time Westbrook really didn't close it. And then we know that John Stockton at the end of the day was the closer. He was going to feed the stars. Like he was going to put people in position.
KD was the closer. And we looked into this. He was the guy taking the shots. KD, for some reason, all this blame goes on Westbrook. People forget KD played bad. KD did play bad.
Yeah, they
they both played bad because of the lack of spacing, but they both played bad. Like, we just can't sit here and just put all that blame on Westbrook. Like, come on.
I think earlier in their runs,
John Stockton is there,
like,
bro,
yeah.
they don't even have a chance to go up 3-1.
That's a chance. Yeah, that's a fact. They don't go up 3-1 because Westbrook played great.
I think y'all not thinking about how much of a knockdown. Like John Stockton was a pretty good 3-point shooter too.
When he shot the ball,
yeah, but he wouldn't be shooting,
and he would have been shooting a whole lot. Like especially we're talking into game. Like we got to transition his playing style into today's game now. When
this is why I don't like This is why I don't like the hypotheticals.
Miles don't like that.
No, I don't mind some hypotheticals, but when you start trying to transport players 30 years into the future, like I can't.
I feel that.
I can't be like give John. If I wanted to give John Stockton scoring aggression, I would have done it in the 90s, and I would have said he's much better.
There's players in today's game that already complain that are still playing, like Rondo. He complains that he still doesn't shoot enough. He says he looks around the league and he goes like, if that guy's taking that many shots, why aren't I taking that many shots? Like there's still people that feel that way. So if he was passive back then, like if you're gonna do the hypothetical, like I think it would be fairly easy to say that he may not have done it now as well. But Dub, you mind if I ask another? If I get a question off to Miles?
Yeah, that'll be the last one that I gotta get some new guys up here.
Yeah, for sure. Couple of things, Miles. Firstly, Man United, Man City. Who you got winning this weekend?
Man United need to win, man. 2-1.
See, what's gonna Starboy Martial Rashford gonna show up today?
Who do you think's gonna win?
I'm trying to be optimistic. I think Man United are gonna win.
I think it's gonna be 1-0 draw. I'm predicting 1-0 draw.
Man United are gonna get 3 points.
Bro, I'm a United fan. I'm.
Yeah, so you have to be realistic. I have to pray that Man City drop all 3 points.
That's I'm saying. Look, I'm gonna be realistic. I'm gonna go 1-0 draw. Rashford's gonna score, and I think Myers is gonna score tomorrow. That's my prediction.
And do you think Graham Potter keeps his job, and he gets the sympathy for the amount of injuries he has?
Because Todd Bowley's the owner, yes.
Yeah, I hope they signed him to a lengthy contract. Did they not?
Yeah, it will cost 20 million to get him out.
Yeah, I hope Chelsea are trying to turn a new leaf with this manager principles. They're not just going to keep sacking guys. So hopefully Graham Potter gets the opportunity to just stay long term. Otherwise, Chelsea are just back to their old ways.
And the one thing. This is last thing.
Last thing. Is this about footy again?
No. This is actually a basketball question.
Oh, okay.
So I was having a conversation with my friend. We're just wondering if we had a one-on-one tournament with all the guards, all the wings, and all the bigs in the league, who wins in each position? I said Kyrie wins guards, KD wins wings, and Embiid wins bigs.
Today? In today's era?
Today, yeah, everything today.
Oh, I thought you were doing point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward.
No. Guards, wings,
guards.
bigs.
It'll be Embiid, KD, and yeah, Kyrie.
KD wins wings easily.
Mm-hmm.
I think his only competition is Tatum.
Yeah, KD hand down.
Mm-hmm.
I do think one-on-one, I do think AD could win for the bigs. I'd go with Embiid, but I think AD could win.
That'll be a good one.
Guards, my friend said Luka though, because Luka's a 6'8" guard. But it depends on who starts with the ball.
Nah, Luka ain't guarding Kyrie, bro.
But Kyrie ain't guarding Luka either. That's the thing.
Oh man, listen, bro. The way Kyrie be playing, bro, I ain't betting on him.
What is it? Is it 3 dribbles or
3 dribbles? 100%.
Hey,
I'll probably
turn
go Kyrie
notifications on, subscribe, like the video. It's free.
Get the likes up, man. Get the likes up.
Eat your greens.
Everyone's doing our job.
Love.
They got it. Appreciate y'all, bro. Appreciate the love, bro.
No, we're gonna win the league this season. Arsenal winning the league this season.
Have a nice weekend. Behave yourself.
Arsenal getting top 4, man. We're getting top 4.
We'll try, man. Be easy, fellas. Let's get some new guys up here. We're gonna drop the link in the chat real quick. Here we go. All right, we got a couple other super chats. A one-on-one super chats too. I like that. What's good, fellas?
Hi.
What up, we got super chat from Analysis of Nick. Love the show. Who wins in a one-on-one game, Kyrie or Allen Iverson?
That's tough.
I'm not trying to be an AI hater, so I'm gonna just stay out.
Tough.
No, go ahead. No. Mars.
Kyrie.
Mars. Listen. It just dawned on me why y'all doing this, bro. Like I realized it. Somebody was around analyzing the players of today, and y'all just said, you know what? Let's flip the script. Let's go back to one of these old heads and see how great they was. So Magic Johnson was the first target, bro, like a couple of weeks ago. And now John Stockton is a target now, bro. Like, yo, Dub, Mars, y'all got a chance to end this.
We're not ending this shit if people gonna keep lying. People lie.
Listen,
and we cannot allow people to lie anymore.
What you call a lie, I call it slightly fabricated. Like
slightly fabricated, bro?
Yeah, I call it slightly.
But you haven't proven no point, Dub.
Huh? Dub,
y'all going on these fields. Y'all ain't proving nothing. Y'all just saying.
Dub. It's no point. What's the point to this? Like nobody's gonna put Stockton in today's game and say he's gonna be this and that or whatever the case may be.
But wait,
what's the stupid shit that we said about John Stockton? We clarified how he did underperform in the playoffs.
No, I'm not
Mars
saying
broke
it's
down.
nothing.
No, it's not true. Mad Max said this. Mars broke down John Stockton's game and how he benefited from the system and from the players which he was around. So what are you talking about,
I'm talking about the stupid shit that y'all on with this council old media that y'all are just. You are lying, and y'all keep saying Magic Johnson wasn't a good defender. You lying. He wasn't the best in the league.
Oh my God! No, you're lying by sitting here trying to escape for this man like this.
This is why
I did watch him, bro. What are you talking about?
No, you didn't, Doug.
I wasn't
You're not a student of the game, Doug.
YouTube is free.
You're not a student of the game, Doug.
YouTube is free.
Stop acting like you're a student of the game.
Gabe, I didn't do this.
Zach gave you this little thing and you just running with it. Don't know.
I was gonna say though,
talking in here.
YouTube is free.
Don't know.
There's a reason they didn't have him guarding the guards. There's a reason why they had guys like Michael Cooper guarding the guards. There's a reason why they had him.
He's 6'8" with slow feet. Of course, he's not guarding the guards.
Point. Yes.
Okay, he still was a good defender. You still can be a good defender. You can be a good defender with IQ. You could be a good defender with IQ, but you never know because you never step between them lines. So stop talking like you have.
Help it.
Bro, he's
That's what he's doing. He's
average
helping. At best, he was an average.
Okay, they keep calling him garbage. That's way different than garbage. Average is way different than garbage.
So therefore,
y'all lying.
He was an
That was an average defender, bro. It's not
average is way different than garbage.
You're just
average
lying.
is way different than garbage.
You're just lying, bro.
It's way different than garbage.
Hey, do you think Magic would be a top 5 point guard right now?
I don't think Magic would be playing point guard right now.
Why not? Luka's tall, like almost as tall as
I
Magic.
think Matt. No. I like in today's game. I think Magic. You could. In today's game, I think Magic will probably be at the 4 or the 3 or something like that. To me,
Yeah, he'll probably be a point forward.
Yeah, I think he'd be like start. I think he'd be listed at like maybe power forward or 3. The way they run small today, bro. I think he'd be. I don't think Magic would be playing the 1 today. I just don't. I don't know.
Isn't Ben Simmons as tall as Magic and plays point?
Yes,
I don't even know what Ben Simmons be playing at this point. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But Ben Simmons is a different case, man.
Magic
Magic
you said his height. That's why.
But Magic is the least aggressive, bro. Like I think like Ben Simmons is just. I don't know, man.
Ben Simmons don't take the shot. Magic Johnson will at least take a shot.
Exactly.
I just don't know how Magic Johnson's a good defender. That's
oh my god! Oh my god! If somebody says this center bull crap that he will be in today's league, I'm gonna
point forward.
I've never heard of that before. Who is it that said that?
The point center
Where
is
did point
ridiculous.
center come from?
I don't know.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Magic
Why is that a
Johnson
thing?
playing center in today's league will be the worst thing for a team.
How is Magic not a good defender?
It would be terrible.
How is Magic not a good defender?
He only had to do it that one game. I don't
He
think
was
he
too
should
slow
take
to guard.
He wasn't a good rim protector.
He wasn't a good post defender. He couldn't make very good rotations around the rim because he would actually opt to move out of the way because he couldn't block shots. His defensive rebounding was pretty good, so I'll give him that. His rotations were so. I say he was good more than he was bad, but he missed quite a few. So when I'm looking at
everybody missed rotations. You ain't watched enough Magic games to know how many rotations he missed.
From
so it's just cap.
It's
cap, bro.
You can't tell me it's cap. All people saying I didn't watch enough games. I don't know how many
cap.
games you watch. How many games did you watch? I don't know. I don't care.
I'm a student of the game. I watch games every day. I know basketball.
So you're a student of the game, but I can't say I'm a student of the game. And if I say I'm a student of the game, then what?
You don't show that you're a student of the game.
Mars,
Like,
what
am I meant to show, Mad Max, to show I'm a student of the game?
Your turnover logic. Your turnover
My
logic.
turnover logic is what? My turnover logic is what?
Just don't know the game.
So what did I say that proves I don't know the game?
What?
Like what you just said about Russell Westbrook, that him and Stockton not making a dumbass pass and Westbrook making it turn it over is the same thing.
It's like people don't listen. I swear to God, they don't listen.
Excuse my language.
Listen. Your ears just don't work. Your ears don't work because that's not what I said.
Mars. You can clarify it.
Once again, I will repeat it for the people who are too hard of hearing.
I'm with Tinker now. You condescending.
That's cool. Yeah, because you're being dumb, so I'm gonna condescend you. Don't be dumb, and I won't condescend you because you're gonna say what I said. And I didn't say that. What I said was someone being too aggressive can be just as much of a negative as someone being too passive. They're equal. They're both different sides of the coin, but they're both on the same coin. That's what I said. Two things can be a negative on different sides of the spectrum. So don't say what I said when I didn't say it, and then don't complain that I'm being condescending when you said I said something I didn't say. You're gonna say my logic is dumb, and that's meant to just be cool and fly. But then when I say you're being dumb by saying I said something I didn't say, I'm the one being condescending. No, don't accuse me of saying something I didn't say. Don't accuse me of saying something I didn't say. I didn't say that. I said someone being too aggressive can be. No, it's not. You said John Stockton not making a terrible pass is the same as Russell Westbrook making a terrible pass. I did not say that. I did not say. No, I did not. I never said not making. What idiot would say not making a terrible pass is the same as making a terrible pass? No one said that. No one said that. Okay, then you're dumb. It's not my problem. You're dumb.
You said that.
Let's move on. You're dumb. You said that. You can't understand
What
English.
you said? Last segment.
You can't understand English. You can't understand English. You can't understand English.
It's turnover. And that's turnover thing because they're less detrimental to the team. Did you not say?
You can't understand English. You can't understand English.
Are you saying that Stockton is better than Westbrook?
Cook Mars.
It's not my fault, bro. Like,
Dub.
What's good, Leaf?
Yes, Stockton was better than
I
Westbrook.
wanted to hear Buddy last week that said Jaylen Brown was a 1B. I ain't getting to hear him say nothing.
Jaylen Brown.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. You know you got to continue.
Listen. My point in his last game should have proved that against the Pelicans,
Just
bro.
in his
What
last game
else do you want to go? No, what do you mean? I last week I stated that his last 6 games he averaged over 30 and he was number 9 in MVP voted. So this notion that he is a number 2.
But what's wrong with being?
What you mean?
Why do people have to change it to?
I mean, no, I'm not saying it's nothing wrong with a number 2. My thing is that people say that Jason Tatum clears him, and that's not true. That's just clearly not true. Whenever Jason Tatum has a bad game, it's Jaylen Brown who's covering for him. It's been that way since they've been together.
A great number two should do that.
That's what you're supposed to do when you're the second guy.
Wait, hold on. So what you're saying is, Jaylen Brown is a 1B to Jason Tatum, and not
Jason Tatum is the 1A, and Jaylen Brown is a 1B.
Okay, I mean
Okay,
what's the difference between being a 1B and a 2? You're still number 2.
Because when you said
I don't understand that 1B.
He was a 1B.
No, because being a 1. Okay, so for example, if the Bucks were to switch Chris Middleton as the one and Giannis as a 2, would they be as good as they are if Giannis was the number 1 and Middleton number 2?
Hell no, not now.
Exactly. If you were to switch.
I just want to understand the difference between a 1B and a number 2. You're still the second option.
Okay, I'm trying to explain. A 1B. If something was to happen and Jason Tatum was to go down, Jaylen Brown can come in and still keep the ship afloat. We can still be a number 1 seed with Jason Tatum out. That's what I mean by he's a 1B.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is, if Jason Tatum was hurt instead of Jaylen Brown, they could still hold down the number 1 spot in the East?
Yes, easily.
Maybe.
I don't. That's because of the team and coaching.
I think that's a maybe on. I'm on the fence with that one right there, but I mean, we'll have to see it. But
there's a super chat. There's a super chat that just got brought. I still can't believe Kyrie is not top 75. He has the greatest handle/leg packages ever. As of right now, who is next 25 players?
Hold on, I want to say it. I'm gonna say it because I said it on PC, but I'm gonna say it differently. If your picture on the top 75 is gray, get out of the top 75, bro. I don't want none of them. I don't want none of them on that list no more, bro. I keep hearing people talk about some. Anthony Davis shouldn't be on there. They should switch AD for Dwight Howard. No, bro. If you got a great picture on the top 75, bro, you're gone.
Gabe,
I agree.
Why?
That's just Bill Sharman disrespect. Bill Sharman
disrespect. Hold on. Wait, Gabe, I agree with you with some of those names. Like Sam, like what was it? I think they
some
had
of the old players from like the 50s and 60s.
Nah, Casey Jones isn't top 75.
Is Bill Walton top 75?
Who was up there? Who was up there? Like from the?
He should get out of there.
You got guys like Bill Sharman, Dave DeBusschere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. All right.
Dwight deserves it more than Kyrie, though.
Tony Parker deserves it more than Kyrie. What are we talking about?
Who else?
Manny deserves it more than
Tony Parker. It was Bill Sharman.
No, he don't.
Who else was it?
No, he don't.
Exactly. Y'all can't even say their names, bro. That's my point. If you're
look. You can't say their names.
Bro.
What? You can't say the names.
You don't even know who they are.
Hey, listen, Gabe, can't none of us say their names. Listen, what's done is done.
You must still have a hard time saying onto the Kumpa. They still botched that, but
exactly. We just say Giannis, but Gabe.
No, it's not on the fact that y'all can't say because you don't know how to pronounce it. You can't say because you don't know their names.
Listen, Gabe.
Okay.
It's in the past, bro. Like
that's fine.
This is one of the things that I plead with Dub and Mars with almost every week. I'm like, how long is this thing gonna go on with the old heads? We just gonna like we just gonna take an old head.
Man.
I mean, I heard was it Tone or Fluent, whoever that said that because Dub and Mars wasn't around to see it, they don't have the same perspective.
I don't want to talk about that shit, honestly, bro. You're gonna piss me off again with that.
I don't want to talk
about it. Because, bro, I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. These guys were kids in the 80s. They were kids.
That's true.
The same way that they talk about me watching Miami Heat back when LeBron and D-Wade were together. Hold on. The same way that they say that, the same way that we don't remember things properly, they were in fucking elementary school and middle school at that time in the 80s, bro.
So put me in the tight
Who it's not that old, bro.
Come on, bro.
So
they gotta understand it.
I can remember my middle school.
They gotta understand it, bro.
Eli
Apple understands it. Eli Apple understands it. Why can't y'all, man? The future is now.
Listen,
leave. Hold on, leave. The whole point the whole point of them saying if you wasn't there, then you don't have a full grasp on it. You could apply that same logic that they were too young to understand the game of basketball. On top of that, they were too young to watch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I agree with you. It's one of the reasons why I always state every time I come up in here at the pinpoint when I started watching basketball, it's important to me that a lot of people know, bro. Like, I was too young to really analyze it. When I came to for a fan and started analyzing it more as the years went on, it's one of the reasons why I get on players of today, bro. Like, because I could honestly sit here in front of everybody and say I've seen LeBron's career from the time it started to all the way to now. Curry, when it like, and these are the players that I analyze. My thing is, it's like, yo, these players back then.
You said LeBron should have 6 rings in 2015. You said LeBron should have 6 rings by 2015.
I
don't
did
know
say
if you
that.
really, huh?
I said that, but that's beyond the point. My point is this.
That was third.
At least 5. At least
I'd say at least 5 because 2011 is the one I.
All right. Listen, just tit for tat, but my
it's,
thing.
It's still your point. You're right. At least 5 to 6 is fine.
All right. Listen, but that's tit for tat right now. My thing with Dub and Mars is like, how long is this going to continue? Where y'all keep grabbing one of these old geezers?
Till I don't know. Whenever
you gotta kill the narrative.
It can't continue because they ain't progress.
I ain't gonna lie though. I kind of feel like with the old heads, it's just like y'all don't want to come to the fact that it's like people in this current generation or even like in the past 10 or 15 years that are just better than those guys.
But Dub, the thing is, like, most of the old heads, like at least on like that came on PC.
Leaf, it's not gonna end, bro. It's not gonna end.
No. Listen, I already asked that question. I already asked that question. You already gave me an answer. But the old heads that I've seen, at least on this channel, like the only time they come out with for like the Magics or the Stocktons or whatever is when y'all bring it up. You know what I'm saying? So like my thing is they always talking about current players. They always talking about players in the last couple of years or last 20 years or maybe like 10.
When an old guy says John Stockton is the second passer of all time, that's cap. That's cap. He brought it up. It's cap. It's cap.
But Dub.
No. Stop. Whenever we have these conversations, bro, the way we always, it's out of nowhere. You feel me? Hold on, Leaf. The topics that we talk about, it happens all the time where we'll start talking about current players, make our way to older players. It happens. So when it just happens with everybody. So when I hear them, whenever they get to that point and say some cap about some old players, we're gonna have to address it.
And the old heads aren't limited to the ones that come out here. It's all old heads over the world, man, all over the world.
But
Gabe,
when you say, you saying that, bro. But Gabe, you said that, bro. How many of them is tapping in on this channel though? It's mostly like people our ages, 20s, 30s, maybe a couple of 40-year-old people. But
I don't care. But
you're not proving nothing, Dub.
Dub. Max. We already proved. We already proved a lot with you today, bro. We don't have to do this.
You tried with Kareem, he failed.
We already proved
Kareem.
We proved a lot with Kareem. We proved a lot with Kareem already.
But we've said plenty of times. Look, there's
a whole movement about Kareem being a fraud. What you talking about? You can't say somebody failed if a lot of people said
right there saying nothing for 2 weeks.
You don't make sense.
Mars said nothing for 2 weeks.
You look like a fool right now, Mad Max. You capping like a head. You capping like a whole head again.
What was the Kareem argument? Over again that when we give
the Kareem thing only comes from Dub and Dub only, bro.
No, because
I'm pretty sure
we started a whole movement.
Yeah, nobody backed it up.
Oh man,
hella cap.
Failed if we started it.
Wait. So you don't think Kareem's the greatest center ever?
Because you ain't going nowhere with it.
That came on here and killed you. Already.
Listen, let me say this real quick. Hold on.
Shaq ain't killed nothing.
Look, listen.
Yes, he did.
When we first
killed
started
with the Kareem debate.
Listen,
when y'all first started this whole old head thing, listen. We the first thing we said is when we want to give these players their respect, we'll give it to them Like we're not hard headed, bro. When we want to give them the respect they deserve, we'll give it to them. But we want to be brutally honest, bro, about what they are and what they were. That's when
when I do that about Curry, I get shot.
But you're not being
like,
brutally
everybody
honest.
start
You
coming out
lying.
with they gun.
How we lying though? They've gave you so many different things that were facts.
No,
you not.
You said Curry not top 10 is kind of like
no.
No, you ain't gave no facts. You gave opinions. And y'all think it's facts. And that's what's wrong.
Who was the bigs that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went up against? Name them.
I'll answer that.
I know he'll kill every big in the game today. That don't matter. I know he'll kill every big in the game today.
I mean, that's not saying much because there's not that many centers today.
Let Ron go. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm only gonna throw out 3 names because I only get to throw out 3
Oh,
names.
Mike,
whoa.
That's Robot Ron.
Your mic.
Yeah, you got the bot.
You sound like Kanye from Stronger.
I think you got one
got the robot.
or something, bro.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna just catch up with y'all later then.
Oh man.
I was gonna ask him about that CP3 thing.
But Dub, my thing is just like, listen, when the cement is dry, bro, like I feel like we just digging these up. It's this thing. It's something that I said last week. I'm like, yo, as the years go on, it's more and more smoke for Jordan. Like like as the years go on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? For like Jordan in his era, like I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like,
I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure with you, Lo. I don't never know what you do.
I did a LeBron.
Oh wow, we got everybody coming up in here today. What's happening? Bob, yo, Bob,
Bobby, don't come for me too hard, bro.
Oh, a 9-person panel again, great.
I mean, like honestly though, like when
Bobby, help me out.
Bobby, you know the future is now, man.
You said what? What you say, guy?
I said, you know the future.
What do we have John Stockton on y'all?
Bobby, help me out, man.
Dang, Bob, your audio. Bob, say something real quick.
Am I good?
You good now?
Yeah.
I got a quick question. In order to be a top 5 point guard of all time, wouldn't you have to be a top point guard at that time that you were playing at one point?
No, it just says all time. It doesn't say peak. It doesn't say player. It says all-time point guard. That's what we going off of. What did you do with your whole body of work? What did you do? That's what it is.
Then I'll tell you.
Just asking. I was just asking. Just curious.
Magic, Steph, Oscar. I got Jerry as a shooting guard.
No, Steph don't belong in there.
Why do y'all keep moving Steph Curry?
Why do you? Yeah, no, that's the problem. Wait. That's the problem that I have with y'all old heads. That's the fucking problem I have with y'all old heads. No. Y'all try to move the goalposts. Y'all try to move the goalposts for y'all players. Y'all try to move the goalposts for y'all players. But when it comes to this generation, it's different. That's not cool. That's not cool. Listen. The type of point guards that y'all are accustomed to are not the same point guards we are accustomed to. We are accustomed to scoring point guards. Steph Curry never played another position in his career. No. That's crazy.
Bro, y'all trying to
Isaiah Thomas,
2K,
Chris Paul.
combo wing guard.
Hold on, fellas.
Wait. Just give me. Listen.
Hold up, fellas. Hold up. What's the conversation being had right now?
I was telling you my top 10 point guards, and then he said Steph.
Leaf was like, Steph Curry is not really a point guard. That's another thing that the old has been doing, bro. They move players' positions for no reason. Why not?
Why don't he belong in top 5?
He's a point guard.
Why don't he belong in the top 5 point guard?
Look. The only thing that pertains to him at the point guard position is the fact that he's listed at the point guard position.
Where else
his game,
but that's what he is.
Oh God!
Let him get his list.
So because he doesn't play the point guard, we can't.
No, it's not even that he doesn't play the point guard. It's that he doesn't play the point guard that they want him to. No, that's what we're accustomed to. That's what our generation is accustomed to.
Let him get it off.
Can I finish the list though? Because I just got to 5. I said Magic. I said Steph. Then I said Oscar. Then I said Isaiah. Then Chris Paul. Then honestly, I'll probably do Steve Nash, then Jason Kidd, then Gary Payton, then Westbrook, and then Stockton. But you need to stop this Steph hate, man.
It's not Steph hate, man.
The fact you don't even got a
not
top
no.
10 is kind of
Oh, bro. Oh my God, man.
I don't know if that's worse than me hearing KD
But
at
Leaf,
26.
I don't understand why y'all have this notion of
Listen. All right, listen. Dub and Mars started this show and said we got to be honest about who Stockton really is. Now I'm sitting up. Now we can we really be honest about who Steph really is?
Stop.
Can we
please.
really be honest about who
greatest point
Steph
guard of all
really
time?
is, man? Like,
The one or
listen,
two greatest point guard of
What
all
is
time.
he? What is he?
What
Is he a
is he to
shooting
you?
guard? Is he a hybrid?
He might as well be a center at this point. We don't
I'm
even
not
know.
gonna lie, Leaf. You on the old head shit that I don't like, mainly because of this. Right? When we asked an old head up here on the show, he said, "Yo, what's Draymond Green? What's LeBron?" What did he say? He said a point forward, right? So he still classifies him as a small forward, but he'll call him a point forward. My whole point is, why can't we just say that Steph is a combo guard? Because that's a term that a lot of people use. So he's still a point guard, but he's a combo guard where he's doing two roles in one. So if we can acknowledge that for LeBron James, why can't we acknowledge that for Stephen Curry? And I hate Steph. Remind yourself that I don't like him. I play fuck. I play fuck Steph Curry at least 3 times a year. I'm serious.
Look, Dub. I'm the complete opposite.
You're not even a LeBron fan, and you hate Steph. That's surprising.
Dub. I don't hate Steph. I just hate the overrating of Steph. That's what I hate. Steph Curry being top 10 all time player, ludicrous to me. I will always defend against that.
Hey, he may be better than.
I feel like you're just including the game itself. The reason I got Curry top 10 is everything. Like that, he's a revolutionized player.
We got it. Listen, as far as the point guard, as far as the point guard position, and knows that can score. Steph sits at the very top of that, whatever pyramid that is. He sits clearly at the top. Underneath, you could probably put Jerry West, and underneath that, you all the way at the bottom, you could probably put, I don't know, Gilbert Arenas, whoever, bro. I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen.
Hey, low.
Wait. I want to hear what he want to say next, because if you calling Jerry West a point guard, then
I don't know if Jerry West is a point guard, bro. I just said that. That just
if
came
Steph's
out of my
not
mouth
a point guard,
Jerry
Jerry West can't be a point guard.
I don't know if Jerry West. As far as I knew, I thought Jerry West was a 2 guard, bro. Like I honestly thought that. At least that's what I thought. I don't know if he's a point guard or not.
Because old heads told you that. That's why you thought that.
No, not because old heads told me. Because of 2K, bro. Pay attention. Like, but
2K is even worse. That's even worse. That's even
worse. Man. But listen. But finishing my point. Other than the fact that he's listed at point guard, there's nothing about his game that pertains to all of the foundations that the point guard position was built on. It's nothing.
So you haven't seen. So all right. So we're gonna go to the watch game. We're gonna go to the eye test. So
let me finish this.
Is he a 1 or 2?
You said what?
Is he a 1 or 2 to you?
He's listed at the 1, but his play style is basically Reggie Miller on steroids. We all
That's
know
what I'm at. Do you have him listed as a point guard or a shooting guard? Because if he's a shooting guard, he's what, the 3rd greatest shooting guard of all time?
It really, I don't know, bro. Like it really depends on what type of night it is, man. Like it depends on what Jordan Poole is. I don't care, bro.
Oh Lord.
Listen, getting back to my point, bro. Like all of the foundations that the point guard position in basketball was pertained on. When I think of Magic, Isaiah, Stockton, Jason Kidd, even Chris Paul, bum ass. I put them all in.
Oh my God.
I put them all in that conversation as top 5, basically meaning that they can control games without scoring. They can control games with like facilitating and being the floor general and being that. Mark Jackson tried this experiment with Steph Curry before Steve Kerr came up, and it miserably failed.
It did not miserably fail.
Yes,
You're just lying.
What? It was 4 rings.
Wasn't his first All-Star was with Mark Jackson? Didn't he make his first All-Star with Mark Jackson?
He made one. Yes, he made his first All-Star with Mark Jackson. That's fine, but listen, the player that he became when we all it's the craziest shit. Everybody talk about 2016, and I agree with you. That's probably the best version of Steph Curry we ever seen in terms of winning at a high level and playing at a high level and having the play and the team success all at the highest level. The only thing about that year is that they blew the 3-1 lead and they didn't win the finals. That's fine, but the way the Steph Curry's style of play at his very best doesn't pertain to anything to none of the foundations that the point guard position was built on.
Who established those? Who established that?
You said who established?
Who established that? Who established the foundation for point guards?
Who established the foundation? Come on, man. Low.
I'm asking you a question. Who established it?
I don't know, Malo.
And that's the problem right there. You don't know what you're talking about. You just chatting, boy.
I'm just chatting.
You're a professional chatter.
Right.
Because if that's the case, then what was Oscar Robertson?
Oscar Robertson was a do it all. No.
What position was Oscar Robertson?
He played the one.
Okay, so why is it why is it Oscar Robertson can go out there and give you 30 to 35 points then? And that's just viewed as acceptable.
Oscar Robertson is not in my top 5, so I can't.
I didn't ask you about the top 5. I'm telling you that there's point guards that existed before Magic and Stockton who are volume scorers. That's all I'm saying.
There was very few of them, but now it's now we
very few. Tiny Archibald, Oscar Robertson, Walt Frazier, Jerry West. There were plenty of them. What are you talking about?
You only gave me 4.
You discredited Steph for that.
You may go back throughout NBA history and just find every single last.
Give him at least like 15.
I mean, you looking
that's
at
what he wants to
bro,
hear.
I'm not, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Why are we discrediting Steph?
You know what's so weird to me? You a 2K head. It'd be crazy. Like I name players that everybody should just know, and everybody's like, "Oh man, you're looking at a screen." Like if you know who Tiny Archibald is, you just don't know basketball.
I know who Tiny Archibald is. Go ahead, bro. Get to your point.
No, my point is that these foundations that y'all talk about the point guard position is set on. Before Magic Johnson and John Stockton, point guards existed. And those point guards, some of the better point guards throughout NBA history, they were volume scorers. That's just a fact. I don't know what to tell y'all, bro.
And you gave me the names. You gave me Oscar, Tiny. You gave me Jerry West. You gave me Jerry West, and who else was the 4 you gave me?
And that was only just 4. There's plenty more. I don't know the names, but I know there's plenty more.
No. I'm talking to Low. I would suspect that he know more, bro.
Hold on,
Lee.
Hold on. This super chat is actually elite. All of the top 20 or so greatest players of all time are some type of combo position, except the centers. Jordan/Kobe are not pure 2 guards.
They're not. They're absolutely not. But the concept of what a pure 2 guard is supposed to be, that's Klay Thompson, Reggie Miller. Jordan and Kobe were bringing the ball up. They could also post up. They can come off of screens as well. Every position, we've accepted the fact that they can play various different ways. But for whatever reason, the point guard position and maybe even the center are the only 2 positions where if you deviate from what you believe to be a traditional player at that position, now all of a sudden I have to just shit out a whole nother position out of nowhere for me to put you in. Even though small forwards, power forwards, shooting guards all play different, all drastically different, just completely different.
No, I never used the word pure, by the way. Like that's
traditional.
But the way your top 5 is set up, those are pure point guards. The way your top 5 is set up, those are pure point guards.
And
you don't have.
I never used the word pure, but if you want to say that, man, like
traditional and pure is the same difference. It's the same.
I never said traditional neither. I just said the
foundation. That's
the same thing again. Again, I'm saying if there's players, you name me players that went as far as Magic. Mm-hmm. Okay, what about all the players who came before Magic? What about them? What about those point guards who were volume scorers? Somebody in the chat also brought up somebody else, Pete Maravich. Another ball handler, brought the ball up, initiated offense, but also a volume scorer. Okay,
didn't he play the 2? Didn't he play the 2 at some point in his career?
I'm not saying he definitely played the 2 at some point, but he also brought the ball up, initiated the offense, like you said Curry doesn't do, which is why he's deviating.
I never said that Curry didn't.
He was
do
listed
that.
as a shooting guard for his whole career.
He definitely brought the ball up and initiated offense in several possessions that I've watched him play in.
What? That's a Pistol Pete, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. He definitely did that. And
the point I'm making though is that there's players before Magic that were volume scorers who played the point guard position. Those are the people who will be able to establish what it means to be a point guard.
I understand that, but I feel like most of the people that put Steph in the top 5 point guard conversation and just say, all right, then they say they go like this. They go Magic, Steph. I honestly believe that's strictly because of the success, and I understand the success. It's 4 championships in 8 years and 6 finals and a finals MVP. I get all of that, but like we feel like
what is there to argue? What is there to argue? There's nothing else to argue.
Wait, who would be top 5? Who would be in the top 5 other than Steph?
No, wait. What else? But what are you about to say? What was the follow up behind that?
I listen. I get all of that being said, but like when I am thinking of point guards, the list that I named, when I named Magic, Isaiah, Stockton, J Kidd, and Chris Paul, I think that's a solid top 5 list as far as point guards.
Stockton over Curry is nasty. You're disgusting.
Stockton
Jason
over
Kidd.
Curry is nasty.
And Jason Kidd.
Yeah, Leaf. I'm sorry, bro. That's it for me, bro. You be easy, man.
That's nasty.
That was
Yo, man, pack this, man. Stop.
I gotta go.
That is nasty.
Yeah, bro.
I gotta get some guys.
I have a question. Why can't we just why do people make it so complicated? Why can't we just rate them off what they're listed as? I don't understand why we gotta overcomplicate that.
Because like I said, they're going off.
For me to say that? No, right?
I think it's just basically them just going off how they look at a point guard. Like that shouldn't be the case.
It's purely just.
You gotta understand. Well, Gabe, you gotta understand. Like a lot of people that talk about this as men, and men I love doing pissing contests, right? So
I get that.
a lot of men want to sit here and try to sound like the almighty basketball guru. So they're gonna sit here and add these nuances just to make themselves sound like smarter than what it is. Instead of just sitting here and just accepting what players are listed, well, we go by the technicality. Go off of the technicality of this, he just can't be listed as that. And it's just a dumb. It's just a dumb way for like people to just big themselves up as if they're smarter than everybody else. And we're just gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's the most logical way. You go to people's most hated fucking website, Basketball Reference, go see what they were listed as, and we just go from there. I don't understand why we gotta. Oh, he didn't play like this. I didn't like that. I don't think he's this. Like, just go look at the facts, bro. He was listed as this, and base it off of that. I don't understand why they changed it.
Hey, yo, did Luka come in as a point guard or was he a small forward? I can't remember.
Who, Luka?
I thought it was shooting guard.
I think he was shooting guard.
He came in next to Dennis Smith Jr., so I guess he was a 2 or a 3.
I think he was a shooting guard. I'm pretty sure.
Too. Yeah, too.
Because I know there was like points where he was mostly guarding like the wings until like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was playing with Dennis Smith Jr., but then they moved him when they seen Dennis wasn't going to work out. But I'm going to go get some other guys up here, bro. Appreciate you. For real. Christopher D, I'm going to leave you up here for a little bit longer because you came in later than everybody.
Hey, Dub, real quick. My Bears winning next year, bro. Bears Super Bowl 2024.
You got a lot of draft capital. I'm rooting for you guys.
Sir.
I'm not going to hold you.
Yes, sir.
Everything you got and get
Get D-Hop.
D-Hop. We get D-Hop. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right,
we already there.
Yes,
all right.
Sir. Peace.
Yeah, the other problem is like I don't know. If the more and more I watch it, more I just be like, bro, I just don't.
Yo, I'm waiting for that
just
video.
lying.
I'm waiting for that video, Lo. Where's that video coming out, man?
I had to just put out the scoring video. I put the scoring video out yesterday, so that video is going to come out. But the more and more I just look at it, bro, it's like there's several teams back in the day, like this whole positionless thing being like a new thing. Like, oh my god, like anybody can bring the butt. Like, bro, go look at the 70s Celtics. Had John Havlicek initiating offense, and he was listed as a small forward. The 60s Lakers had both Jerry West and Elgin Baylor bringing the ball up. Depending on who you talk to, those are shooting guards and small forwards. Like it doesn't change. And Stockton is still trash.
The early Houston Rockets were running Ralph Sampson and Hakeem on the court at the same time, but no one's going to tell me Hakeem's a power forward.
That's true.
So this idea that like it's just a new concept to just put your best 5 out there, no, like that's just something that people been selling other people solely based off of like contextualizing basketball to like a novice who just doesn't fully understand how the game works. So they put out positions. Not to say that when you're growing up and you playing basketball, they don't explain to you through positions. Well, I guess that is because when you're growing up, you are a novice. So actually, yeah,
I think it's important for novices like growing up, getting introduced to the game. I think it's important to understand roles like that. But then once you reach a certain level, it's like it just doesn't matter anymore. Like it just doesn't.
What made you guys love basketball this much? Like, what made you a student of the game, Miles, Low, and Dub?
KD joining Golden State. I love super teams, so I became a Warriors fan. Started watching Warriors games.
You love to make people mad. I know that much.
That's more the troll, man. What you mean?
I would have to say, me and my brother, growing up, I used to be at my grandmother's house a lot, and before we used to go to school, we used to put on ESPN on every day. And I seen Shaquille O'Neal and Dwayne Wade win a championship. We had a little small TV, and every morning we would just watch ESPN, and then just go off of basketball through there. Then middle school is really when I got into sports, like really, really got deep into sports as a whole. So yeah, I guess me and my brother just growing up watching that ESPN TV all day. That's what really got me into it.
And look, you were throwing the word novice around there. You throwing the word novice around there. So what made you a student of the game?
Probably the second half of Kobe's career is when I really, really, really got into basketball. And looking at it through a wider lens than just 5 players on the court, trying to put the ball to the basket, like just looking at it in a much more finer detail.
And how much do you guys hate it when you're arguing about basketball and someone says y'all didn't play?
Well, I hate that because it's such an easy push. It's just so easy. But even then, the people who throw that out there is the same people that would sit and say, "Oh, well, you can't listen to everything an NBA player says." So then, which one is it? Are you going to listen to athletes or are you going to listen to guys who don't play? It really doesn't make sense whenever people throw that out there. What really got me focused on just trying to pay attention to detail and just adding context to everything, because like I look at basketball as life in a sense where everything's not as black and white as it seems. You know, getting to point A to point B is not as simple as it is. There's a lot more complex and more factors that goes into that. So just for me to accept that like Kareem or Magic Johnson is just on this crazy level of winning when fucking I just don't look at it like that. I just think there's more details that led up to that than just those 2 players as a whole.
Also, I mean, with me, when people say that, it's just, it's a bad argument. Like the way that, like, there's something that we don't hold in any regard in any other way. Like if you go out and you go grab something to eat, and you order a spaghetti, and the noodles are undercooked, the meatballs are overcooked or they're raw, and the pasta is bitter, and then you tell the chef like, yo, like this is bad, or you tell the waitress that's bad. Like by that logic, you have no bounds to tell anybody if food is good or bad. You can't criticize anybody the way that we make content, because you're not a content creator, you're not a chef. If you come into a house and the structure is halfway built incorrectly, the windows don't exist, there's no doors. A builder can't come to you like, hey, you ain't a contractor, so shut the fuck up and just live in this house. Like there's no other place in life where we live by that concept. None, like at all. So by the logic in which they're telling,
I get it now. At first, I was like, I didn't quite get the analogy, but I get it now. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like you can't go somewhere else and just tell a contractor, hey man, water not running, I got a massive hole in my roof, no doors, and he tells you, bro, I'm the contractor.
Massive hole in my roof. No
I'm
doors,
the contractor, bro.
He tells you,
like, come on.
Bro, I'm the contractor.
Somebody's echoing. Just make sure you're not playing the stream on a different
Somebody's
TV.
echoing. Just make sure you're not.
Well, who's echoing?
Somebody's echoing. I gotta find this. I think Christopher D's good. Louis been here for a minute, so he's good. I think Cam and Ski. That is one of y'all, bro.
I don't have mine.
I'm in the AirPods.
Got you, Mars. You got anything to say to that?
It doesn't bother me when people say I didn't play basketball, because when people say that, it's then followed by the most mind-numbingly dumb statement of all time that comes from someone who played basketball, and they just say something completely irrelevant, like it's okay to be inefficient because you have no help. Like that That doesn't, you playing basketball, it didn't take a genius to say that. I could have said the exact same thing. And then someone who disagreed with me would say, I'm saying that dumb statement because I don't play basketball. No matter what I say, someone's going to say it's a dumb opinion because I don't play basketball. I could say something like Kobe Bryant could beat LeBron James one-on-one. And that's because I don't play basketball. And if I played basketball, I'd know LeBron James is bigger, stronger, and faster and would win a game of one-on-one. I could say LeBron James would beat Kobe Bryant one-on-one. And then someone would say it's because I don't know basketball, and Kobe Bryant being the best shot maker in NBA history would cook LeBron James one-on-one. So no matter what I say, someone's going to say I don't know basketball. So I just don't really care about it anymore.
If you pay attention, majority of times the people who bring that up is when they're losing the argument and have nothing else to go off of. So then they just say that. They have no other points to lean on other than I played the sport and you didn't, so I'm going to just say that way just to try to discredit you. Whenever somebody says that, I just think they lost the argument every single time.
Also, just before we even move on, just also another reason why I say positionless like positions aren't as like concrete as y'all make it seem. Even in the beginning stages of NBA history, when they were like outlining like starting lineups and stuff like that, they really weren't going by positions. In the first like 5 or 7 years in the like league existence, when they selected all NBA teams, they did not separate it by positions. They just picked the best players. That's all they did. So the things that we be like, people be saying like, oh man, all NBA should be positions, man. They should just get the top 10 players. They did that already. They've done it already. So like this whole thing about like people stressing about positions is crazy. It's just absurd to me.
I mean, do you think somebody's 7'2"? Do you think Shaq could play point guard?
If he was skilled enough.
Yeah, positions were made because people,
if he's skilled enough,
tall people weren't shooting. But you need someone who could dribble. The small guy, well, you can dribble, but you can't rebound. That's originally what positions were for. You're the biggest on the court. You're the center. Go grab rebounds. Then people got skilled, and you could do more. And then we just kept the positions because it's an easy way to have 5 players on the court and tell them what to do.
If you are skilled enough, if Shaq was skilled enough to bring the ball up and initiate offense, yes.
So why Jokic not just point guard?
Is Jokic a point center or point guard?
He's a bunch of bigs around Jokic.
Because do they have a bunch of bigs?
No, but they could create the team that way and just make him the one.
And then where would the perimeter defense be?
Jokic ain't good on defense, but Steph not either. So you can hide that.
What does that have to do
with? You can hide him on defense.
You're gonna snitch.
How do you hide Jokic on perimeter defense when you have a bunch of bigs on the court with him?
That wouldn't do nothing.
If you got, bigger players like 6'7" and taller, like no Jamal Murray type players, no nothing. Just everybody 6'7" taller. Had him run the one against Steph or whatever. Let them do the switches or whatever. Why they don't run that way?
I mean, if the players were available,
there's not enough personnel for them to do that. They have Aaron Gordon, MPJ, who's not very good defensively. Bruce Brown is 6'4", KCP 6'5". Like they don't have the size.
If we're being honest,
if you want to talk about teams doing that, Orlando are doing something similar to.
I was about to say
the Cavs had 3 7-footers on the court last year.
Yeah, like teams are doing this. They're upsizing and trying to minimize the amount of
Toronto Raptors
guards. Teams are doing these things.
Yeah, Toronto as well. And not only that, you can argue last year they did it because Monte Morris was the only small guard, and maybe Bones, who was running, getting like legit burn, but they surrounded Jokic with Barton, MPJ, who was healthy. Barton is like 6'7", 6'8". Aaron Gordon, who's also like 6'8", 6'9". Jeff Green, another like 6'9" player. So they kind of almost did it last year, but they just don't have the personnel to do it though. That's the only difference.
I really feel like if Steph was 6'7" or 6'5" and taller, he'd just run the 2, and they'll probably have a Rondo.
If my mom had wheels, she'd be a bicycle.
But why? But I don't believe that. I think that Curry runs the point because, especially even the beginning of his career, he was just the best ball handler on the team. He's still the best ball handler on the team.
Yeah, like he'd be like a better Reggie Miller, but I think he'd still run the 2. They had like Rondo, like a Rondo type.
The team would get worse if they do that.
But then you're upsizing Clay to the 3.
Yeah,
Draymond is what? So
still 4.
You changed the whole lineup doing that.
So like, if that was the case right now, for example, Draymond Green is starting small ball 5, or Klay Thompson's on the bench because you got Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Klay
Jordan
Thompson, and then
Poole.
you need a point guard. So like, how does that work? You're just playing Draymond Green
I
at the
would
5
probably,
consistently.
I would, Draymond would be the problem.
They would
I
just
won't
keep
know what to
Steph
do
at the
with Draymond.
one. They
They would
just
just
have a
keep
bigger
Steph at the
lineup. They
one.
just have a bigger lineup. It would be probably beneficial because Steph is now 6'5". That would help. But they're not about to get another small guard to just replace Steph as the small guard. That would
But
be kind of.
I really wanted to get on Dub with this Kareem stuff, man. That's what I want to talk
Let's
about.
talk about it. I'm here for it. Let's
But
talk
listen,
about
bro.
it.
Who's gonna stop Kareem today? Like,
No,
who's
who
gonna stop
stops
him?
any great player? You don't have to stop him. It'll
I'm
just
not
be
saying
harder to
so.
find
So
him.
this
So
is
he
what
gon'
keeps getting misconstrued with my argument. Like for some reason, like whenever I make these arguments, like people think sometimes I'll be joking. I'm not gonna lie, but people really think I think Kareem's gonna be like trash in the NBA. I didn't even say that. I said numerous times. I think he'd probably be a top 10 player in the league. The issue I'm saying is the thing that I'm trying to say is I don't expect him to dominate the same way that he dominated in the 70s, playing in a higher talent pool in an era where it's actually harder to dominate from the post and from the paint. I just find it very difficult for him to just dominate the same way he did in the 70s. I
so
don't think there's anything wrong with saying that.
you don't believe the league adjust around the players versus the players adjusting to because
I think it
if
does.
You have to be great enough for that to happen, which I think Kareem is great enough, but you have to be
which
great enough.
and I believe like Kareem could change the landscape, like how Shaq would. If you had a Shaq, everybody would try to get players to not stop a Shaq type player, and it would be Kareem. Everybody would go back towards more quote unquote traditional basketball, play out of
I,
the post or whatever,
I
because
see the
he'd be that good.
I
Yeah,
see the
but
point. I see the
playing out
point
the
with
post is not that efficient. If you because team you'd have to deal with different stuff. Like Kareem wasn't dealing with having to make like complex decisions out of team defenses like they do nowadays. Joel Embiid's whole problem is in the playoffs. Early on, they would double him, and he had to figure it out after like 3 years. He wasn't passing out the double team well.
Joel
Kareem would have to
Embiid
figure
still
that
ain't
out. We
figured
can't
it
just
out.
say he would be great at it,
Embiid still ain't figured it out.
huh? He's
Embiid,
figured it out well enough where he can still dominate and make the right pass. If you watch the last
You need
couple
to stay
playoffs, he's
healthy.
gotten
That's
much
it.
better at doing it.
I believe I believe he get the ball in his hands too much. Like he needs somebody to initiate the ball for him, but he try to do too much.
who?
This is not what James Harden's for.
Embiid. Yeah, I believe Embiid Harden is the great fit for him because Harden could more of a initiator of the
I
offense
just
than
don't
Embiid.
think.
No,
I
he
just
putting
don't.
up historic numbers in like 30 minutes.
I
So
just don't think. I just don't think with the talent in today's era, I don't think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would just have that same level of impact he did in the 70s. I mean, there's just a lot more talented guys in today's league, where even though he could be great.
But at his
Do you,
position, who would he
do you
have to
really think
worry
that
about?
you think that Giannis can block a Kareem shot for real?
Listen, I be gassing sometimes, bro. I mean,
I'm
Kareem.
about to
I'm not
say,
gonna
bro,
lie.
come on, bro.
If I'm
I'm
gonna
about to
do,
say,
if
that
I'm
was
gonna
crazy. I'm
if
like,
I'm gonna be,
really?
if I'm gonna
I'm like,
be,
that's
if I'm
crazy,
gonna be,
man.
if I'm gonna be completely objective here,
Like,
Kareem would get his.
listen,
Kareem would get his. He'll be scoring on high
thank you.
levels, but
Okay.
when it comes to dominating the league, and dominating is included in winning titles and winning championships, I think building a team around Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is just something difficult. It's going to be
Do you
very
think he'll
difficult
have
in
to play with
today's
a
day.
great point guard to actually
He
win a
would have
championship?
to. He would
He had
have
to
to. I
do
mean,
that
that's
when
what
he had to
he
do that
did.
in
That's what he
the
did in the 70s. That's what he did in the 70s.
Yeah.
No. But
Yeah,
what great point guard is he playing with in this era to win a championship?
I mean, the easy ones like Luka and then Curry and then. Let me see. I'm trying not to pick one of those guys.
Yeah, if
I
you
don't
wanted
think
to be
he'll
a
win with
second
Harden.
option.
I don't want to pick Harden.
You don't
I
think
don't want to pick Trey Young.
Chris Paul,
J-
prime Chris Paul.
Prime Chris Paul?
No,
He might be-
like
I think
wait,
Chris
hold
Paul.
up, no, wait, no, wait, hold up, Dub. You were the one that said if you put Chris Paul back in like the 1979 draft, that he would take him to just as many championships. So
Oh
if
yeah, I
this is
said if
prime
Chris Paul was on that. If Chris Paul was on that
yes.
Showtime Lakers team, he would have done exactly what
So
Magic
if they
Johnson
put
did.
the right
No
pieces
way.
around them,
Just like Ray
they
John
would
London
win
would do
multiple
the same.
championships.
Well, Magic Johnson
No
was in
way.
Magic Johnson was in a crazy scenario in which he walked into. That's why I say if you went into Magic Johnson's scenario, because Magic Johnson walked into a scenario that You feel me? I mean, it was probably the best start of an NBA career, if we're gonna be honest.
Okay, so let's not worry about this version of Chris
Dub
Paul.
is chatting right now.
How is that chatting, Lo? He had
chatting.
Kareem.
Yeah, fact.
No. But
wait,
you saying
hold
that Curry can step in there is kind of crazy.
I said Chris Paul.
Even Chris Paul. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, listen, so you don't think that a team with a prime Chris Paul, prime Kareem, and David West on the New Orleans team, you don't think that can win a
Oh
championship?
no, that could win a chip. Hell yeah. What?
Okay.
Oh wait,
okay,
what year? Are we saying in like 2005? Because
No,
Tim
like
Duncan,
2000,
Tim Duncan
these
2008.
hypotheticals are just losing, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you can't really just plop a player in because their play style doesn't translate, and we can't really say, well, they would just be better at this.
I just look at Kareem's game. It's just not a game, in my opinion, that could just dominate in today's era. It's extreme. They made it harder for guys to dominate in the post for a reason because of Shaquille O'Neal. So in an era where it's perimeter oriented, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all.
But I think in the era where it's nobody gonna stop a 7-2 dude, 7-1, 7-2 dude with that shot is.
What bigs are actually?
Yeah, but they're going by twos. While everyone's going by threes, they're going by twos. So I mean,
Wait, I have a question. What do you guys think?
You're chatting right now. You're chatting.
Doubling the post creates the most open threes in the NBA.
Yeah, Dub is chatting right now.
Doubling the post creates the most open threes in the NBA.
Yeah, Dub is
besides
chatting
like
right now.
offensive rebounds.
So what
like,
you think his team is going to be clapping them threes?
I mean, you can look at. I mean,
Yes,
for example,
why would they not?
you can look at teams like Hakeem's
Maybe.
Rockets. They shot a lot of threes, and it was simply because of Hakeem's gravity in the post. Like those
We
type
have
of
a
things
lot
are
of
very
gravity. Come
common.
on, bro. And it's fine.
My biggest problem is
common.
why do people act like the centers nowadays are just defensively shit? Like it's just not true.
Who you got?
They're not as good post defenders.
Not
They're
winning
more
a
like
chip, bro.
mobile and perimeter defense.
What
But they
post
would
defenders
struggle
you got?
against Kareem as well. They would struggle.
Yeah, the problem is with Kareem's game.
yeah.
If we just took Kareem's name and put it here now, if he didn't have the roster that, if he didn't have like a roster that had the 3-point shooting, it would just be a struggle for him. And
Why would he not have that though?
I'm saying if.
Why can't you build
I'm
around
saying,
that?
but why? But
If
why?
you do that with LeBron,
He
did that
gets
with
drafted
LeBron,
by
Steph Curry, whoever you pick. It's
Yeah,
the
if
same
Steph
thing.
didn't have defenders around him, I guess
No, I'm
it'd
just
be
saying he
hard to
gets.
do around him.
I'm just saying if he got drafted by just a team that always messes up their roster somehow, and then
So we're just sending him to
So
Sacramento.
he'll just
now,
go
right?
leave. He'll just go find a team that best suits him.
Yeah,
The same
I'm
way
saying
he
if-
did in
as
the
long as he
70s,
has
he'll
the-
just leave.
I'm saying as long as he has the shooters, I think he'd be generally fine. I'm saying a lot of the times we talk about players, we just disregard.
Y'all overrating. Y'all overrating that 70s, bro. I'm serious. And you all overrating. Kareem.
I think everyone here knows the 70s was.
Okay, so Mars, do you think that Kareem? Because I said that he could be top 10. Do you think he would dominate the same way in the 70s he does in today's era?
Well, him dominating the 70s was the best player of the decade. No, I don't think he'd be the best player, and I don't think he'd be the best player in the 2010s or anything. No,
What's the
that's my
difference
point.
between players?
But that's because he's LeBron is here.
No, in the 20s, in the 2020s. Fuck LeBron. In 2020s.
Is
the
it
2020s
no
on?
worse than
Do
3?
you think that he'll be the best player for this decade?
Yeah,
probably.
With Giannis and Luka?
Probably.
Yeah.
But I've explained this
Luka.
before. The NBA, for me, the NBA is going to go in cycles. I said this a few years ago. Kareem being who he is, right now we have a perimeter oriented game, a lot of switchability, kind of downsizing at the big positions, but upsizing at the guard so everyone can switch as much as possible. You bring in a 7-2 post threat like that, where you're gonna need to upsize to be able to deal with him. The league to me is going to change around that because that's going to be the most efficient form of offense at that point. And you're going to need to get more bigs in the league to be able to deal with that, which means maybe the perimeter spacing might go down. The luxury of 6'2" guards might not be as needed as it was in the 2010s because of the 3-point revolution. And then you're going to end up playing more through the big man, like all simply because of Kareem. And then, like I said, once Kareem is out of the league and there's maybe not as many dominant bigs, a dominant guard is going to come along who's going to be able to fry all these big men in the perimeter. and now you're going to need back the switchable defenders again. It's just going to go in a cycle on and on around players, and Kareem is going to be that player that's going to change everything.
So I don't think that the league would sit here and try to get bigger guys to guard Kareem Abdul-Jabbar unless he's winning titles. You feel me? So if they see him just putting up numbers, not winning titles, the league isn't going to shift to that. The league copies who's ever winning the chip, right? So they're just looking at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's getting all these stats, he's getting all these numbers, but you feel me? Fuck it. It is what it is. Let it rock. We're not going to change the way we're playing basketball. And the way to win is being versatile. The way to win is shooting threes. The way to win is playing on the perimeter, having help defense, having a team defense. They're not going to sit here and try to get bigger bodies because of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, especially if he's not winning.
Wait,
I agree. He would have to win for this to happen. I just think he would win.
Yeah, I don't think he would win.
If you built a unit around him correctly in this hypothetical scenario where you put him 50 years into the future,
wait,
what's the difference? My bad. What's the just quickly? What's the difference when you talk about the different eras? That what makes it so that Kareem couldn't make it in your eyes today? Is it the lack of athleticism? Is it the speed
I just think
of the game,
in
or
order,
what is it
I just think it's going to take a lot of pieces to build a championship unit.
Wait,
around
hold up.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
Wait, hold up,
and a lot
Dub.
of other
Wait,
people.
hold up, Dub. You don't think that in this
the
era
NBA.
of basketball, for generational talent, you don't think that they'll build around Kareem in the way they cater to stars now?
I'm saying
the way they cater to stars now.
When
you don't think that they will start building around Kareem ASAP?
I'm not saying that they're not going to build around. I'm not going to say I'm not even answering the question. I think we answered the question. All I'm saying is, like Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, KD, all those guys is easy to build around for around a championship contending team, right? All those guys, it's not a lot of pieces that you need to build around those guys. All I'm saying when I compare them to them, you said Steph, I said Steph, Giannis, Steph, KD.
Giannis needs perimeter shot creation. Giannis needs perimeter shot creation. He needs an elite point of attack defender.
I get the Giannis
and
one,
he needs
but
an elite rim
people.
protector who can allow him to.
He needs a lot of space.
I think if you
plus
build
the
the
spacing,
team like
Giannis
Giannis,
provides.
Plus the spacing.
Yes, he needs a lot of space.
Nah, fuck that shit, bro. I'm
Steph,
not with
hey,
you.
Steph got hella people around him as well.
It's gonna take a lot to build around Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I just think so.
I
don't think his talent is as good as y'all make it seem, so that he can make up a lot for the team's deficiencies. I just don't.
I mean, Dub, to be fair, it takes a lot to build a lot around LeBron to get you a championship. You need a lot to build to get any championship.
That's not true.
In today's era, bro.
Yes, it is.
Today's era,
It is
Kareem.
true. It's true for every player.
In
You don't
today's
just
era,
take
bro.
garbage and win a championship.
In today's era, bro, Kareem, bro, especially Kareem from what he was in the 70s, I don't see it. I don't.
What do you think? What do you think Kareem needs? What do you think Kareem needs that separates him from everybody else?
Please, I would like to
Well,
know.
Kareem, I think is going to be a terrible on-ball defender that's going to be taken apart consistently in the playoffs. So you're going to need a ton of perimeter defending. You're going to need a lot of floor spacers and a ball handler, and you're going to need. I think he may need a guy who's better than him to win a chip, in my opinion. Even in the 70s, hold up, bro. Even in the 70s, who needed an Oscar Robertson to play point guard for his team, right?
He's not better than him.
Even in the Lakers, no, that's fine. Even on the Lakers, he needed a guy like Magic Johnson to put them over the edge. So come on,
I don't
bro.
think
Y'all
Magic was
missing
better
with
than
that.
him in his rookie season.
No.
Not his
In
rookie
that first
season.
five,
I
look
heard
at the
you
numbers:
think that.
33 and 11, or 33 and whatever. Let's be real. Magic have like prior to Game 6 was averaging like.
Nah. Kareem was the Finals MVP.
No, Magic was.
He deserved the Finals MVP.
He deserved
But,
it.
yeah,
that's what I
was
meant.
carrying the ass.
Wait, Duh. Okay, so you said he's a point of attack defender, right?
He said he's a number 2.
Oh, he needs a lot of perimeter.
No. I'm gonna go down the list of things that you said.
Yeah, crazy.
He needs a point of attack defender, right? He need like perimeter defenders, right?
Yeah, he needs a lot.
Okay, does Luka not need that?
Yeah, but it's easier to hide him than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
But does Luka need that?
Yeah, but it's easy. But it's easier to hide him.
But
than
does
Kareem.
he need it though? We talking about what you need
Yes
to
or
win a
no?
championship.
Yes, no question.
He
I
needs
said
that.
yes. I said
Okay.
yes. But hold up. My same point that I say Mars about Luka Doncic. I would rather have Luka Doncic because it's easier to hide him than a Jokic.
Yeah, but it's not Jokic. You're getting with Kareem. You're getting elite level rim protection. What are we talking about?
Yeah, he's gonna get torched on the perimeter,
and that's fine.
I think you undersell how mobile.
Wait, hold up, no,
completely undersell it. But I'm fine.
I'm not saying Kareem's staying in front of Steph Curry on a switch, but it's not like he's gonna be incapable of hedging a screen.
Wait, Dub, are you trying to compare Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's defense in this era to like Rudy Gobert? Because he'd be much better.
Rudy Gobert.
Even if he's
much better than Rudy.
He'd be better than Rudy. Stop. He'd be better.
Not on the perimeter. Not on the perimeter. What?
I think it's kind of nasty.
Even if Kareem gave you Rudy Gobert defense with Kareem offense, that's not hard
what are we talking about?
That's not hard to build around.
Dub. You said you choose Luka over Kareem. I just feel that's super disrespectful. Like with Kareem winning 6 rings and Luka not even.
Okay, don't bring up the 6 rings.
No, that's so disrespectful. That's so disrespectful.
The 6 rings is nasty.
But we're not talking. Let me finish. You said perimeter defenders. Okay, Luka needs that as well. Luka also needs interior defense as well, which you don't have to provide with Kareem. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3-point shooting. Luka needs that as well. Correct?
Yeah.
And what was the last thing you said? Ball handling. Now Luka doesn't need that because Luka provides ball handling. So the things that you're saying that one would need, the other one would almost need as well. The thing they interchange is just ball handling, interior presence. So like, I'm kind of confused. The thing that you name, almost every star would need.
I think
like KD needs ball handling. KD needs perimeter defenders. KD needs interior defenders. He needs 3-point shooting. KD needs those things.
The thing that I'm saying,
and also KD. Wait, I'm sorry. And KD might also need another player better than him to win as well. So
get the fuck out of here with that. Number one. Number two. Like I said before, I said Kareem. I said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And KD needed a lot.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would need that way more than all those other guys. Like Luka Doncic, I think the offensive value he provides will be able, if you don't have those things, he'll be able to make up for that with his offense. I don't think.
Does he need more than KD?
Who? Yeah, he does. Yes, he does. Yeah. He does.
What is the thing? What is the thing that KD? No.
KD's a good versatile defender, especially today. He's a good versatile defender who can rim protect, and he's played a bit on the perimeter as well. What you mean? Don't lie.
Leading with rim protect is crazy.
Don't lie. You gonna lie on KD's defense?
He's
Dub. You think KD's defense will be more valuable than Kareem's defense?
I'm
asking. Yeah, building a team. You'd rather have KD's defense than Kareem's.
Kareem and his liability on the perimeter. Kareem and his liability on the perimeter is going to be crucial, especially in a playoff setting that everybody will just be taking turns.
Guys. Dub, let's ask this question again. And you better clip this and put it on TikTok. If you say the way I think you're gonna answer it. Dub, would you rather have Kareem's defense or KD's defense?
And today? Oh man. And today?
Man, you better not say that.
Yeah, bro. Go ahead. Nah, bro. Jump off a cliff. Jump off that cliff.
Nah, that's so nasty, bro. You're so nasty. No, I would not do that. You're so nasty.
Yo, what? Answer the question.
I said no.
No. Tell me whose defense would you rather have? Would you have KD's defense or Kareem's defense?
I said I would probably have. I would rather have Kareem's defense, but it's not just the
it's not.
Wait. No. It's not irrelevant because it's not just the defense that I'm highlighting. The fact that KD's not as with his offensive value and his offensive impact, along with his non-liability on defense, I'm riding with KD every time.
KD has liabilities as well, though.
I just want to explain.
I don't know. You saw last year, Dub.
I just want to expose an idiot. I just had to expose an idiot in the chat.
That left hand, come on, man. That left hand.
Hold on.
This is the most dumb statement I've ever seen.
We saw KD get locked up by Tony Allen and lose to Memphis.
Chill. Tony Allen's one of the best defenders in NBA history.
Tony
Allen's different.
It took that.
But we saw that. We talk about a 6'6", 2 guard, bro.
Nah, Tony Allen's one of the best.
Chris Paul did a good job on KD for stretches.
No, he don't do that. He did not.
Yeah, y'all nasty, bro. Y'all nasty.
But KD's limitation, KD's limitation will be ball handling and rim pressure. So he needs somebody who can handle the ball and play make for him.
And what he's doing right now with the Brooklyn Nets? You think the Brooklyn Nets gonna win this season?
No.
Currently, no.
I think they'll lose for the exact same reason why they lost last year.
So what happened? What happened when they was about to send Giannis home packing? What kind of defense did they have?
They defended home court.
The problem then really wasn't their defense. It was the fact that Coach Bud is just single coveraging KD instead of actually pressuring him and making him a playmaker like every other team has done throughout his career. That was really the problem.
And Dub, listen.
What was
low.
But the defense was the defense an issue?
Game 3 it was, yeah.
Yeah,
game 3. But for the whole totality of the postseason, was it an issue?
Well, they only played 2 rounds. The first round they played an injured Boston Celtics team.
Just Tatum.
And then it was then after if you want to count the whole series, the Milwaukee series, but they were hurt, so I don't know how you want to assess that.
I mean, listen, my whole point is KD, even without those defensive weapons that you want him to have as well,
was a second round exit.
He damn near sent your best player home.
No,
he
damn near sent your best player home.
You just said he was a second round exit the same way Lowe said. He
damn near sent his best player in the world home.
He won one game.
He was 1 inch away.
He won one game without Kyrie. He won one game without Kyrie.
He didn't have the defense though. He never had the defense that whole postseason series.
I do have a question.
According to you, they should have been getting torched the whole time without the defense, right?
And then what happened next year?
What you mean? What happened next year? We talking about Milwaukee. Last season. Wait. Last season they was neck and neck with. Last season they was neck and neck with the Boston Celtics.
Why?
Every freaking series. Because KD messed up.
Because the defense from the opposing team made him a playmaker. They forced the ball out of his hands. They were not allowing. They were squeezing up his airspace when he was dribbling the ball. That's why. And that would be the same.
Low.
My God.
KD just missed shots. KD just missed shots.
KD just missed shots, though?
No. We're not going to sit here, and we're not going to sit here and act as if the way that they was playing ball was actually easy as hell to defend, right? They was having him on the top of the key, literally playing damn near pick up fucking basketball damn near every possession, which was easier for the Boston Celtics to defend, right?
Yeah, they were trying to use him off the ball, but he was just getting bumped off.
I was about to say, even when he was running off ball, they were bumping him off his spots, and when he did get the ball, he was so far off on the wing, it was easier to send a double.
Steve Nash and that coaching that they had and the system that
so you mean KD so now KD needs a coach as well. So he needs even more
No, stop. You being nasty as hell. You acting as if Kareem didn't have a good ass coach when he played ball.
Hey, that seems like a lot for KD.
Who was his coach in Milwaukee?
Shit, I don't know. Who was his coach? Who was his coach? Who was his coach? I know he had Pat Riley. Who was his coach?
No. I said Milwaukee. He had a good ass coach. So who was he?
You tell me.
You know who it is.
I don't know the coach. I don't know the coach.
Some people.
Yo, Chad, let me go.
Nah, that's crazy.
Hey, that's one of the novices.
I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, that's one of the novices that you were talking about.
No. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Yo, you better put this on TikTok. You getting good content today.
This one of the novices.
Who is this coach, bro?
I don't know. You tell me.
You do fucking know, you liar. I know you know.
You know you could just switch that in. You didn't need a good coach back in the 70s. Anybody could want it. You could just use that. It's not hard to run, Who was
his coach before Pat Riley got
there? Yeah, I was gonna say, even in 1980, Pat Riley wasn't the coach.
Pat Riley wasn't there. So who was his coach in?
It was Jerry West, right?
No.
No, sir. Yes, he was. No, I know for a fact.
No, in the 80s, when they won
1980, the one against Philly.
Yes, when they won their first championship, who's the coach?
Paul Westhead, or Paul.
Yes.
No, not Westhead. Is it Westhead or Westfall?
Yeah, Westhead.
Okay, Westhead.
Yeah, no, fuck you.
Got a nerd off.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Hey,
The one guy didn't know. The one guy didn't know. I'm gonna get crucified for it.
It was just funny.
Crazy.
It was just funny.
Y'all nasty, bro. I hate
Question: Why do people act like KD did not tear his Achilles?
Jerry West was a good guess.
KD tore his Achilles. We know that.
Yeah, no, but people talk about him like this is prime KD, and he's just like they people act like this is like KD was not better than he is now. At some point.
Oh yeah, I've always said KD was better a few years ago, but the issue comes when people say KD is, I guess, still the best player in the world. So people,
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But I hear people all the time be like, "Oh, LeBron lost in the first series against Phoenix, and he did not play well." And it's like, well, his ankle. So I'm like, well, KD tore his Achilles, came back, and has had a bad bottom left half of his leg the whole time. And people don't go like, well, KD was injured. He's like, no, he was just shit. And that's fine. But I don't see why people don't keep the same energy for players.
So okay, I don't want to misquote you. So are you saying we should give KD the benefit of the doubt for last year's playoffs for an Achilles injury that happened in 2019?
No, I'm saying how people talk about KD now, I feel like they act like this is the KD he's been his whole career, when I think he was a better like on Golden State, I think he was a better player than the KD is now, just for the sheer fact he had much better athleticism and like a much better first step than he does now.
I agree with that.
Which like in that Boston Celtics series, a lot of the there was some things I'm like, old KD could have like got into the rim on this and like forced their defensive hand, but he doesn't have that burst anymore. He simply can't do that anymore. I think people act like this KD now is like how he's always been.
I agree with that, but I think it comes from seeing Boston do to KD what teams were doing to KD 10 years ago, like the Memphis Grizzlies, like the Dallas Mavericks. Like the game plan to slow down KD seems to be in 2022 was the same as it was in 2011, 2013. That's the issue I guess people have with KD, not because they expect him to be the same player, but the fact that the game plan to stop him hasn't changed in a decade. I think that's where the issue comes from.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy because I look at KD, I'm like, this dude tore his Achilles and is averaging 30 at 34. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, KD might have the best Achilles comeback in NBA history.
That's our Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, but Dominique Wilkins is just better than KD, so.
What?
He does this. Maz does this.
Didn't you argue on Black Friday about KD better than Dominique?
I just got given the topics. I didn't know which side I had to.
There's like a little pause after Maz says some reckless shit where everyone like registers what Maz says and then they react. That's just funny.
Look, Dub, man, I'm sorry. Man. I'm sorry. Did you like that, Dub, man?
Nah, bro. Nah, man.
Let me get some Milwaukee Bucks in 1971. That's
like, goddamn, Lo. Like, Jesus. Like, I'm not gonna hold you, Lo. That's not something I'm just gonna sit here and look up. Like, it's not on my mind every time, bro.
But that kind of proves my point, though, Dub. But man, I'm sorry, man.
Wait, Lo, do you know who it was? Do you know who the coach was?
No, did you know who the coach was?
No. Nobody knows who that.
You could have said any name and we would have just run with it.
But that's the point, though. He didn't need a great coach to win. That's the point.
I checked Larry Costello. I looked it up. I checked Larry Costello. He had a nice little.
None of us know who that is.
Oh, actually, no. He actually has some name recognition. Larry Costello.
He does. So he was a good coach. So it proves my point.
No, he does not.
You don't know if he's a good coach. Just taking this guy's word for it.
Yeah,
I didn't say he was a good coach. I just heard the name.
Also, Paul Westhead was not a good coach either. So I don't know what we're talking about.
Pat Riley
he won a championship.
Pat Riley was though. But I'm gonna get some new guys up here, bro. Appreciate y'all for joining up, man. Lo, I'm gonna get my.
All right.
Lo, I hope you know I'm gonna get my get back on you.
Are you sure?
I promise you, I will.
I don't know, man.
Damn,
Leave your captain in the chat, bro.
Not today.
Leave your captain in the chat.
Give up. He's just
Gabe,
bro.
Today you got me, bro.
Leave your captain.
I'm pretty good at this, man.
Stop acting like that didn't happen, man. I'm just basing it fact. Dub. Notice when it comes to these Kareem topics, I never go against you. Ever. I never say anything about it, bro. Everybody else is getting on you about the Kareem stuff. I never go about it. I just want you to know that, bro. Never. The whole time you talk about Kareem, I never get at you.
Stockton is trash. I just gotta keep throwing it in there. Just every
whatever, bro.
Every time we pivot, just keep throwing it.
He just the all-time leading assistant still.
Angel, what's good with you, bro? What you gotta say, man?
That's all right.
Oh, he's muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, bro.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
My bad. Man, I'm nice to meet you, Lo. I'm one of your fans. Also, yeah, Stockton's garbage, bro. Man, I'm so glad we can have this conversation, bro. Stockton's so trash, bro. He's not in my top 10 point guards.
What's the top 10? Can I hear the top 10?
Oh man, I gotta lift on my 10. Okay, so I have Curry first over Magic. I'm sorry. I'm one of the new guys, so people are gonna hate me, but Curry's just better. Then Magic.
Basketball, man.
I need to get my gun license, man. For real.
Yeah. You must have never played basketball, man.
It goes Curry, Magic, CP3, IT, Oscar, West, Nash, Kid. After that, it gets real blurry. Gary Payton.
Stockton is around there. You're around there.
Yeah,
Stockton gotta be there.
Yo, Ty.
Still waiting for some Westbrook love, man. Still waiting for some Westbrook.
I have Westbrook over him too.
I take Westbrook.
Ty, you want to chime in on this, man?
Magic
You're gonna hate me for the
Steph over Magic is a bit.
On Stockton?
Yeah. Nah, he just said his list. Say your list again.
It's biased, but it's Curry, Magic, CP3, IT, Oscar, and then it was who did I have six?
Jerry West.
Jerry West, thank you. Then it was Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, Westbrook.
What the?
So Stockton not top 10.
No, Stockton's not top 10. I have Westbrook over Stockton.
I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at his list. I'm not mad at his list.
I like
Appreciate
GP
it.
He thought he had backup.
It's the Magic and Curry. Magic and Curry for me is kind of over.
Yeah, people.
Yeah, I got Steph.
I'll admit it. I'm biased. Like I started watching basketball 2006, 5. I think it was 2005, and so like I had to go back and watch the 80s, and I just couldn't, man. Like imagine, like he ran fast breaks. It was really good, but other than that, everything else was just trash.
Exactly. Half court Killian Hayes. Half court Killian Hayes. Facts.
Okay. Yeah, people don't talk about. People don't talk about that. People don't talk about that about Magic a lot, bro.
Oh, that's nasty.
They was running.
Before Magic Johnson had a post game.
I was about to say in the late 80s, the early 90s, he had a post game, and that was definitely saving his half.
Right. Nah, they overrate to me. They overrate his ball handling a little bit. He like you said, like he was backing down the court on ball pressure, like he's backing down the court, like he in the post from half court. So I no, he's not a guy that will like go between the legs, around the back. In the open court, he did that shit, but like if a defender is pressing him, no, he didn't have the great ball handling. But he's a product of his teammates a lot, and a product of that system, that run and gun, what they did. But yeah, he's not OD great as far as ball handling goes.
Ball handling. Where do you rank Magic all time? Is he above Steph?
Man, see, I'm not a huge Stephen Curry guy, only because to me, as a small guard, if you really focus and try to lock him up, you can lock Steph up, and he's a product of also having a great team around him as well. So, he's not the point guard or anything like that. So
wait. You said locking Steph up.
I'm saying like in the playoffs, you saw Steph when defense to really get in him, he struggles a little bit.
Like when?
A lot of if you go to them games against the Cavaliers in some of those games.
Which ones?
See, low. I would have to look. I would have to go back and look and see the games he really struggled in. I can't take one game too.
He had bad games, and so that means he struggled.
2015.
Well, I mean,
26, 5 and 6 on 44, 38.
But he shot 5 for 23 in what game 2?
In one game, and now all of a sudden he just struggled.
No, not just one game. I'm saying, if you
what was those numbers again?
26, 5 and 6, 2 steals on 44, 38, 88.
26.
Wasn't there another series in that year that he kind of struggled into?
In 2015,
what was his average during the season?
You said
2015, right?
26,
2015. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
What was his average during the season?
I'm still during
the season.
He said 26, 5 and 6. Yes,
26, 5 and 6 off of 40, 30,
44, 38, 88.
Okay, what's the
Check the
season number?
Grizzlies. Check the Grizzlies. Check the Grizzlies.
Most
In
players
case the
go
Grizzlies
down
didn't
for the
Most
regular
players are
season.
going down from the regular
Yeah,
season.
that's not crazy, Leaf.
I
Don't
think
do that.
he still had like
do that.
I'm just asking.
No,
58
don't
true
do that. You
shooting
don't
or
hold
something.
that same energy with KD. You don't hold that same energy with
Yeah,
KD.
he
I've
went.
seen
He
you
went.
do
All
it.
right, let me.
Well, with me?
Oh, wait. No,
No,
you talking about me.
low.
Curry
Nasty.
went from 60, I want to say like 62, 63 to 58. He went down 4% true shooting. 4. Curry's going down like 7. So that's the difference, dog. That's the difference.
Nah, bro, you be ODing. You be ODing.
Oh, I be ODing.
No,
Yeah,
you be ODing.
definitely.
Low. Not for nothing, but I like you do name off of KD numbers a lot, man. Like in the last couple of times you was on there. You picked up on some of his playoff efficiency ratings like a couple of some episodes ago, bro. I don't remember.
Dropping in the playoffs is normal. It's to the degree in which you drop. That's a normal thing. Players drop in the playoffs. That's a normal thing. It's a degree in which you drop in the playoffs.
I'm going by
2, 3,
Go ahead.
4%. That's normal. That's a normal drop.
I'm going by watching the games. When you focus, when you're able to focus, and you know what I'm saying, really switch everything. If you have the personnel to do such things with Curry, then I think you can contain him a certain amount. He's gonna go on runs where he's just on fire. I understand that, but for a percentage of the game, you can really contain Steph to a certain degree. To me,
So every player in NBA history, because that's every player. If you have the personnel, you can contain any player in NBA history.
That's not true.
Player. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
That you can contain Jordan, you can contain Kobe.
Jordan had several series in the playoffs where he shot below 42, 41.
Because he was okay. Then I go again to eye test because he was missing shots or they were shutting him down.
Both. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying there's a difference between somebody missing their shots and somebody being contained.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be worse if he had those numbers just missing shots though instead of getting locked down?
I need to know what series these is.
I just said 96. In the 96 finals, he was getting doubled practically every possession. He was being contained.
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay. Okay, that's different. That's different. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying, but that's a little different to me than running, 2 players at somebody's and getting the ball out of their hands. I'm saying if you have a defender that can stay in front of Curry a little bit and be able to switch, that's different than running at him and getting the ball out of his hands.
Name me the series where they ran single coverage on Curry and he got shut down for the series. Name me that series.
I never seen nobody literally run the ball double Curry.
2019 Toronto Raptors.
Okay, and what was the number? That's okay. You name one series. Go ahead. He's been in the playoffs every year. He's been in the playoffs every year.
2018 Houston Rockets.
He's just making up shit.
2016 Cavaliers.
Yeah, he just throwing out there. Yeah, the Cavaliers didn't double him. They switched everything.
No, they doubled him several times. What are you talking about?
Several times or all game? What are you talking about?
In 2016, he got doubled several times. Then Teron Lue.
What is several times?
Teron Lue.
What is several times?
I would argue 2 or 3 times a quarter he got doubled.
2 or 3 times a quarter?
Yes.
And that's consistently running double teams at him?
For somebody who runs off ball, when he does get the ball in his hand, they're doubling him as soon as he touches the ball. Yes.
I have to see that series, brother.
Teron Lue then went on record saying that even when Kevin Durant was next to him, that they focused more on Curry than he did on KD.
Right.
So,
they're switching. That's not double teaming. They're switching harder. They're running at him harder. I understand that, but that's not double teaming. Focusing on him and double teaming him is 2 different things.
Yeah, he got doubled, especially in that 2019 series against the Raptors. Like without it,
he was getting doubled off the ball. On the court on the Raptors. I know about 2019, but like them other series, he was getting doubled off the ball because he played a lot.
No, honestly, I'm talking about when he did. If I'm saying for the times in which he was off ball, as soon as he touched the ball, there's several times where they're doubling, hard hedging, sending help, shadowing over. Several times.
Yeah, of course you're gonna do that. Of course you're gonna shadow and hedge on the screen. Of course you're gonna do that.
Okay, but would that not be under the guidelines of trying to contain somebody?
Of course you're gonna try to contain him. Every team's gonna try to contain him. He's a lead scorer. That's no question.
If everybody tries to contain, that's the point. If you try to contain an elite scorer, that's everyone. Very rarely have you had somebody who can go through an entire postseason career where they've never had bad series when the opposing team is trying to contain them. That's everybody. LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Dirk, Magic, like everybody. Everybody has series like that.
Shaq. Right. But what I'm doing,
even Shaq has Tim Duncan.
Right.
All of them.
But what I'm doing, and I understand what you're saying. What I'm doing is applying an eye test to it. When I watch the games, I see stretches in which Curry can be nullified to a certain extent. Yes, he's going to go on his runs. I understand that. Yes, they're going to make mistakes defensively because he puts so much pressure running off screens and all this other stuff. Teams aren't used to switching everything. Teams aren't used to playing off ball like they have to do on Curry. He runs off double screens, passes to Draymond, cuts off another screen. Yes, it's very difficult to contain him. But I'm saying it's more. It's a lot of lapses defensively, which allows him to get going. In my opinion, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Not him just being a great off-ball mover.
He's a great off-ball player and a great shooter. I'm not disputing that. I'm saying it depends on him, you allowing him to me, he's not just a great one-on-one, I got the ball, watch me cook. It entails a lot of intricacies of that offense for him to get going. That's all I'm saying.
So what I'm gonna confuse. Where does that lead us to? Is this a critique on who he is as a player, as a scorer, what is this?
I'm saying he benefits from the system. I'm saying he benefits from having other great shooters around him that allow him to be the player he is. That's all I'm saying.
Is that not every player, practically every player in NBA history?
No, some players, if you leave them just one-on-one, they will murder you.
Yes,
whether it be in the post or the perimeter.
Would they not then also benefit from the positioning and spacing of their teammates?
What?
The ability to be able to go one-on-one.
The ability to go one-on-one would mean that nobody else will be able to leave their player, their teammates.
If you don't know the difference between a one-on-one player having a clear out, which every team does, then and having Steph Curry run off multiple picks around the screen and having Draymond Green as a decent facilitator.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked. We're talking about benefiting off of your teammates in the system that you play in, right? The ability to go one-on-one.
Having a clear out is benefiting from your teammates.
If I have a bunch of shooters around me to where they're threats and you don't leave the shooters because they can knock down threes, my ability to go one-on-one with you in the post.
It's the NBA.
Didn't Draymond Green say that? Didn't Draymond Green say that before they got KD?
I don't understand what's so confusing.
You just sat there and said Curry benefited from a bunch of shooters. So if I'm saying
I didn't, that's not what I said.
You did.
That was a part of what I said. That was a part.
Okay,
that was a part of what I said.
Okay, so if
that's not all I said. You taking one.
If a post player has a guard who can bring the ball up, initiate offense, and throw him the ball in the post accurately, he's benefiting from that. If that then big gets the ball,
hold on, no. This is the NBA. 90% of point guards can dump the ball down to a big man. No, that's not funny. That's a fact.
Okay, wait, and in the NBA, 80% of people can set a screen.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit
confused.
I'm confused on why we're talking about ISO ball because Draymond Green did say by his own admission they needed KD mainly because Stephen Curry in the isolation wasn't as good as
exactly.
No, exactly. I don't think anyone's arguing that Steph Curry's isolation game.
No, he is arguing that because that's what I said.
Lo is arguing that Steph Curry didn't need the isolation game to have this necessary impact.
He won. He hurt LeBron James.
Steph didn't need this isolation game that you're praising other players for.
He got better.
He was fine without it.
Better.
And that's fine.
Because he got better. But he wasn't like that in 2015.
Better. So we don't know what type of player he would have been if that situation did not warrant it. What I'm saying is that you labeling Curry like this idea that he benefits immensely from the system. That's everybody. That's everybody in NBA history. It's very rare that you have a player who's not going to see significant benefits.
That's not true. I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Then,
yeah, right. Because KD can be in any system. Because what KD can do is he can ISO, he can play all ball, and he's a knockdown 3-point shooter, catch and shoot. He can do multiple things.
How'd
So
that,
why
work?
did,
how'd that work out for him?
Exactly. And how's that working
No,
out
I'm not
for him?
saying. But you
Are y'all
disagree
serious?
that?
Y'all
Are you
nasty.
disagreeing?
No,
that
it's not.
he's-
I'm not. No, I am disagreeing because Kevin Durant his own self has cried and complained about not having proper floor spaces and playmakers around him. So he said that after he
But
left OKC.
was he successful as an individual player in every system that he's played in?
Curry's been as successful in every single
No,
system.
you're not answering my question.
Yes.
Was it yes or no?
Yes.
KD's been great in no matter what system he's been in.
Curry's
Thank
also
you.
been great in both systems.
With the great shooter, with Steph Curry, when he's playing off ball, when he's getting ISOs, he does everything very well.
Curry was also individually successful when he's been coached by Mark Jackson. He was. So I don't know what world we're talking about.
He was good. I don't think he was to the level of what you would consider a KD or anything.
That's true.
Yeah, he wasn't a top 2 player in the world in 2014. No, he was a top 10 player in the world.
He was still successful. He was still a successful player. For me,
oh, he's good. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying when you talking about top point guard ever.
Yeah, so I might have been. The point of but then by that logic, then are we going to criticize Magic because he came into the league immediately and he benefited all from those? Are we then going to criticize? Are we going to critique Kobe because he came into the league with Shaquille O'Neal and benefit from those players?
Yes.
Are we then going to criticize even Kareem?
If Kobe had 5 Finals MVPs. And one without Shaq, of course that elevates him.
How much credit do we give Magic for that 91 season now? I just wanted to throw that question out there. How much credit do we give Magic?
I'm of the belief that everybody benefits from a system to the level. Yes. What are you talking about?
Yes, in a team sport, I believe players benefit from their team.
Yes.
Call me crazy.
Yes.
Call me crazy. But
I'm not saying that everybody benefits. Yes, of course. Other players have to make shots. It's the NBA though. Other players are expected to make shots. If you don't understand that Draymond Green benefits from his system, and wouldn't be as good anywhere else. Come on now.
Draymond is the lower tier.
Yes, now we're just talking about portability.
You said that. You guys said that without any caveat. You guys said every team.
I didn't think I had to explain the Robert Horry 7 rings conversation, but yes, we're talking about elite level players. Elite level players. We are only talking about elite level players. Every elite level player is going to benefit from the system in which they play in.
Okay.
Every elite level player.
All right. So
okay. I'm not going to disagree. All I'm saying is that some players are the system, and some players benefit from the system. LeBron James is the system.
If you don't think Curry's a system,
I think most coaches are smart enough to build systems around their best players.
Oh, 100%. If they're a good coach, they should.
Steve Kerr did with Steph Curry.
Curry's a system.
Sure.
Steve Kerr built. I think what Todd's trying to say is yes, they built the system around Steve Kerr, but that is a system. They built the system around Curry, but we weren't looking at Stephen Curry like this until this game play. We did not look cold. I get he was 24, but that is the point that he's making. That he was not on this caliber until as soon as Steve Kerr came in and put him in position. And he robbed James Harden of an MVP.
Look at Trae Young, for example. Look at Trae Young, for example. And I'm not saying Trae Young is as good as Steph Curry. I'm not saying that. But it's a way bigger margin because of the system that Trae Young is in. And he looks bad in that system when he's made to be this individual player and have to do so much by himself. He's going to shoot bad percentages. He's going to shoot. He's not as good of a shooter. No, I agree. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But a couple years ago, okay, go ahead.
My quick question is, why is it? Because I think I understand what you're saying. Why is it that players have to do this whole I can carry a system or a team to prove my greatness or to prove my abilities? I just don't understand that.
Okay, all I'm saying is when you're talking about GOATs, when you're talking about Steph Curry has nothing to prove. He's great. He's all-time great. All I'm saying is when you're breaking down the intricacies of putting somebody 1, 2, 3, you have to take in all those things in consideration. To me, when you're talking about Magic Johnson, yes, you bring up that he came into an all-time great situation. When you bring up Kobe Bryant, yes, you bring into the fact that he has 3 championships without a Finals MVP when other players didn't have that luxury. So that's all I'm saying. When you're talking about GOAT debates and greatest of all time debates, you take all that in consideration. Stephen Curry has nothing to prove to anybody. If his career ended right now, he's Pantheon great.
And Jordan and Kobe did not win outside the triangle offense, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay,
but so I'm saying, okay, you're talking about a triangle offense.
But that would
I understand
be the
that.
system.
But I understand that. But when you look at eye test, the triangle offense didn't necessarily free up Kobe in one-on-one situations. That was him putting that ball in the basket, shooting over double teams and whatnot.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
You're mistaken about what the triangle offense does, is because the triangle offense literally is set in place to position players on the court in which a way it gives an advantage to the isolation player. That is
understand that.
So you can't sit here and say that it was just Kobe by himself. No, the players on the court at that time were in a position that was much more advanced than majority of teams at that time.
Every team runs sets. I understand what you're saying. Trust me, I do. I understand the intricacies of a triangle offense and what it does, how it isolates Jordan on the wing, how it isolates Kobe in advantageous situations. I truly understand that. I do. But all I'm saying is it was him against a defender. Whenever that ball came to him in that isolation situation, it was him against a defender, and he cooked one-on-one. And if a double team came, sometimes he still cooked. That's all I'm saying.
I think, well, to get on
Don't shake your head, bro. Don't shake your head, big dog.
To get on Lowe's point about everybody's benefited from the system. I think there's a few cases where players haven't. I think so. I mean, in terms of Giannis championship and Kawhi's 2019 championship, that might be the case. That might be the only 2 cases.
Kawhi, I disagree with you wholeheartedly.
In the world are
Kawhi,
we chatting?
I disagree with you.
The injuries,
wholeheartedly.
Injuries,
every ounce of me disagrees with you.
No. Hold on. Gabe,
he didn't benefit from the team and system that he played for. You think Kawhi did benefit?
The number
I
one.
think it was more Kawhi. I think it was more Kawhi.
Kawhi
than
definitely
them.
benefited from that. No.
That was an elite level playoff defense.
Oh my god! What are we
Sergio
talking about?
Yeah,
it was an elite level. It was an elite level playoff defense.
Wait, what? Yo, y'all
and Kawhi Leonard thrived in that team where they had Kyle Lowry, who was a great facilitator.
Okay, but what about offensively though?
Offensively, he didn't have to worry about playmaking at all. He had 3-point shooters around him. He had a forward who could a 4 and a 5 who could shoot as well. So he had playmaking, floor spacing at practically every position, and another slash who can give you like 20 points in Pascal.
That's a given. Every team, great players average. Great players average 30. The game is to 100. So obviously you need your teammates. You only account for a third of the points. I understand that. Every team. That's a given, though.
Like the last 35 minutes.
But to say that there was no benefit, at that time, Kawhi was not the playmaker that he is now. Because he didn't. Kawhi was never really asked to be the playmaker at that time because he just left TP and then he was on a team with Lowry. So at that time, he had playmakers around him. They had players who brought the ball up, initiated offense.
Everybody has that. I mean, I don't understand why you're arguing that point.
He's believing that offensively it was just Kawhi, and that's all it was.
I know, but you're saying, you're saying like a given, like every player benefits from his team. Of course, you can't win a game without your teammates. It's a team sport. We understand that, but some players go above and beyond what other players do when they're winning championships. That's all I'm saying. Everybody benefits from. Come on now.
What you're saying above and beyond. He was a scorer who also. I'm not saying he never passed, but he was essentially their primary scorer offensively. That's
I
what
understand
he
that.
So to make it seem as if like he didn't benefit immensely from the fact that somebody else could set him up, initiate offense, find him cutting, also somebody else holding up and having gravity by being a quality slasher and Pascal Siakam.
They had a good team. That was a good team. I didn't say that. That's Leaf.
That's all I'm replying to. Leaf saying that.
And the Warriors got hurt. He cooked all out without saying the Warriors got hurt.
And Embiid was hurt. Look at Embiid's numbers from that series.
It's been a
Look
good.
at Embiid's numbers.
It's been a really good discussion back and forth. I
Let's
don't
kill
think
that
it's been
Warriors
anybody
got hurt
cooking.
nonsense.
No,
Please, man.
I'm joking around, man.
He's trolling, dog. God,
No,
trolling.
No, I can't troll.
Yo,
Damn.
Doug is mad sensitive since he got cooked. Doug is mad sensitive.
Low already got one. He not
Doug is
getting two
mad
today.
sensitive.
He got one today. He not getting another one.
No, let me troll a little bit, man.
Did he cook me though? Did Low cook me?
No.
It was a great conversation. It was a great conversation.
Leaf is taking a little too far. I just think
I agree with that. I think Giannis and Kawhi carried a little bit more as the go-to players of their teams than a lot of other superstars.
Why don't discount Giannis as Batman? Don't discount Giannis as Batman.
Please don't.
Please don't. I mean, he only put up 50 points off 2 moves in the finals game, bro.
And please,
Look,
please
real
don't
quick.
discount Drew Holiday being elite level on-ball defender.
Oh,
and
yeah.
racking
Okay.
up,
Listen,
also
notice
racking
I
up
said
9
offense.
assists.
Notice
Drew
I
Holiday was
said
averaging
offense.
9 assists in that postseason run. He
Yeah,
was
he
setting
did.
him up all throughout. He was a way better playmaker than they had with Eric Bledsoe.
Who led that
Way
team?
better.
Who led that team in assists?
Drew Holiday did in that postseason.
Drew Holiday
run.
did.
Okay.
And I want to say he doubled. He borderline might have doubled Giannis. Drew Holiday was amazing as a playmaker.
Giannis was averaging about a good 4 or 5.
I thought like Giannis and I thought
I
Giannis and LeBron were like the only 2 players that lead their teams like in points, rebounds, assists, steals.
That's what we should have said. That's what Leaf should have said. Leaf should have said LeBron.
Oh, I was going there. That was next. I was going there.
I might have said that and let you have it.
No. If you want to go,
I like that one.
If you want to go with statistically, bro, like then obviously LeBron would be that, but
it's not just statistically. Drew Holiday was handling the ball, initiating the offense, setting Giannis up. He was much more utilized as a lob threat throughout that entire postseason run, which Giannis
every big man got a point guard.
He was.
No, that's what I'm saying. But to act as if like Giannis he was out there just doing it himself, like nah,
he was. But when it came,
I don't think he's saying that.
He is.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they did a little bit more in they championship runs as the go-to player.
Than like
a lot of other players.
Did Kobe?
I would disagree.
There was
not Kobe.
Wait, I'm asking.
I would know then. Like, what other player do you think?
Kobe in 09. Kobe in 09, obviously.
So how much carrying did Curry do last year?
How much carrying did Curry do last year?
Especially in the finals. How much carrying?
Steph never carried anything.
He did a significant amount.
Let me see.
Oh no, Steph was nasty. Steph was nasty. He proved a lot. He proved a lot last season. Don't get me wrong.
Andrew Wiggins was the reason they won, man.
Hey, you know my thing about the wings. You know my thing. We are
won the Western Conference Finals MVP.
Facts.
Yeah.
Draymond Green was locking up Jaylen Brown.
This is you right now, man. Cook.
Andrew Wiggins did step up, but Steph did a significant amount. I give him a significant amount. Not more than Giannis. Not more than Giannis and Kawhi.
Give him a B plus. It's a B plus.
Yeah, about B minus. Yeah.
Hey, for the
B
Drew Holiday.
minus? Oh my God, y'all are haters. I can't. I can't, dog. I can't.
I give him a B.
Nah, Leaf drags it, bro.
I'm not dragging it.
No way that you put up 31 against the best defense in the league or second best.
They
weren't guarding him. They weren't guarding him.
That's the first
we
was playing drop coverage low. Come on, man.
We just said the same thing with if Kobe or MJ are on the wing and they're isoing. That is a favorable matchup for Kobe and MJ, correct?
But what about if they're going against resistance?
That's not what I asked you. If Kobe and MJ are isoing and they doing one-on-one, is that not a favorable matchup for Kobe and MJ?
Yeah,
100%.
Okay, so if when Curry finally, and I do mean finally, played a series like that where that was the most favorable defense he's played in a high leverage settings, correct?
I mean, but the defense kind of set off when they started playing drop coverage, though. Oh, come on,
but
man.
If you let Kobe and Jordan go one-on-one, that's a terrible decision. And I agree, it was a terrible decision to go drop coverage on Curry. But nigga, like
he still did what he did. Yeah, he still did what he did.
Thank you.
Still did what
Even off of drop coverage, he was still nasty.
Okay, well, all right. Okay, low. But when we say he still did what he did, he still did what he did, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, we gotta We got to put a little bit more pressure on him to see if he can still do that, man. That's all I'm saying.
I put Steph in high regard. I put Steph after that.
I'm just saying, bro.
Y'all
Like,
could
yo,
agree.
it
Y'all
go,
could agree to
but
disagree.
for real, it go back to something that Ty was saying, bro. Once you start keying in and collectively, defensively, as a unit, and you start keying into what he's doing, things are looking. You might could be able to slow him down a little bit.
I think
the problem is that Clay might start getting off. The problem is, you know what I'm saying? They get cutters to the rim behind Steph, and he finds them.
But do you risk that with Clay having the season that he had last year?
Not right now. Right now, you let Clay beat you.
I would let Clay beat me. I would never play drop coverage on Curry.
Okay, last year, do you let Clay beat you?
Yeah, even last year I let Clay.
Even last year, I'm getting the ball out Steph. I'm trying to get the ball out Steph. Like you said, I'm hedging screens.
I don't think defenses was playing him like that though.
And which is the problem, that they were still playing him like he was 2016, and that was crazy.
Exactly.
That made no sense at all.
Plus Boston set a record for turnovers. They was shit. Fuck them.
No, they was young. Yeah, they young. It's their first time there. You gotta give teams at least one trip to the finals and taking that L before they get right.
I think they just I don't think the Boston
blew that.
Traditionally,
you don't agree with that? I agree with you. Leaf is like crazy right now. I agree with you.
Boston blew that.
Give him a deep postseason run or two, and then they'll figure it out.
I think with Boston, it was just the fact that last season was the first year where they didn't have a guy like a Kemba or like a Kyrie Irving there for the majority of the season, so they was really trying to establish their role. So having Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown making the main decisions, like that's just something that they weren't used to, and they had to figure it out, especially in the playoffs.
And I feel like they both gotten better over the offseason.
They all got better. All of them. All of them.
All right. So with that being said, if they had gotten better, what was the point of bringing Malcolm Brogdon in?
No, they needed that. They saw they had a deficiency at the point guard position.
If he's up, that's like asking why the Warriors got KD. Like, you don't have.
No, you definitely
can't just get better.
Yeah.
No. Not only that. Not only that.
I swear, it's a crime to get better.
Not only that. That was the main.
You know, Kobe's teams got better. They replaced Ariza with Ron Artest. Players they get better. They get better, dog.
But they saw that was a big deficiency last year in the playmaking department. Like if you got Jaylen Brown trying to be your main ball handler, you going struggle. So they needed somebody to handle. And Marcus Smart to me is not a great decision maker. He be thinking he's Steph Curry sometimes and launching threes and shit. You are not that dude, bro.
He is not that one.
You know what?
Yeah.
And listen, Lowe punched on a lot of things in terms of them getting better. I believe it's with Boston. It's the same shit, different toilet, man. Listen, they're gonna go right back to their old ways. They're gonna go right back to volume shooting. They're gonna go back to turning the ball over. It's just gonna take we just gotta wait for it.
The only thing I got from the Stephen Curry conversation was he beat a hurt LeBron James team and he beat a Boston Celtics team that was just too young. Let's not give this man credit, bro.
Thank you.
I ain't going that far. I ain't going that far.
That's all I heard. That's all I heard.
Stand up, Dub. Come on, man.
Do not put no flame emojis in the chat, bro, because he is
Stand
not
up,
cooking,
dog.
Nah,
Get him up,
I ain't going that far.
What are you cooking, dog?
That's all I heard. That's
what
all I
are
heard.
you cooking?
Wild.
None of his
Get him
rings
up,
count.
Dub.
He needed
What are
KD
you
to win, bro.
cooking, dog? Yo, put a microwave in the chat right now.
Tune in next week for Elder.
Hey, real quick.
Go ahead.
Put it out there.
Real quick.
The Golden State championships are all Mickey.
Hey, only two small guards. Only two small guards led their team to championships. Isaiah Thomas and Steph Curry. Put some respect on his name a little bit.
Negative.
And CP3 would have joined them if he didn't get hurt.
Why you gotta end on some cat?
All for it, bro. Peace.
Hey, y'all have a good one. Salute.